most part, do not know that thing. So they are only taught or told after marriage.
So now you know. Now you know. Now you've heard it. You heard it here first. For those of you that did not know, you heard it here first. And Mr. Fred is speaking this fact. This is not his perspective.
No,
He's telling you as it is. He's telling you what it is in the Urobo tradition.
Yeah.
So if you are an intending Urobo bride and you did not know this before now, I'm sure now you know. And if you know, you know. All right. So I will still need you to drop your comments on all our social media platforms displayed on your screen. Okay, Mr. Fred, that is a huge one right there.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't see that coming.
It is. It is.
Oh my goodness. Okay, now let's fast forward now to what we call what's it called now? The during the
Talking about
the parents' burial or something, the bride's parents or the
in-law
groom's-
greetings.
Yes, the in-law greeting. Yeah, in-law greeting. I'm sorry, this thing I heard now, it really took me off balance, so I had to forget this. Yeah, so let's talk in-law greeting.
Yeah.
What is in-law greeting for you? Because I understand that in-law greeting is for the women, right? The husband comes to greet them, and it's a ceremony in burials. If the bride or if the woman in question loses either parents,
Yeah.
either her
The
father
father or the
her
mother.
mother, the husband and the husband's friends or the husband's people comes to do the in-law greeting while they are doing their burial ceremony. What is the significance of in-law greeting?
Well, like I said earlier on about one particular thing we talked about, I said just to make things glamorous, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Now, it's all about paying your respect to, your wife's father or mother that has passed on. It's just for you to pay respect to that particular person.
So it's
Nothing more
possible
than
to
that.
as well ignore. Is it possible to
No,
ignore?
you can't ignore because it is a standard in that tradition with that nation.
So that
Urhobo
must be
nation,
done.
Isoko nation, yes, it has to be done.
And then I understand that the husband has to, for some people, the husband puts cloths, fabric, wrapper on the wife's shoulder, and then for some people gives her cash,
Yeah.
to wipe away her tears. We already know that she has finished crying. She's literally finished crying, and she has wiped her tears. So why that wiping of tears? What does that mean?
You can't wipe away culture.
No, I'm not wiping away.
No, I'm
culture,
coming.
I'm
There's a place I'm going to.
Okay.
You can't wipe away culture. It's just like you can't wipe away what has been said in the Bible or in the Quran.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
So, like I said earlier on when we started, these are the precepts, the ways of life of these people even before the advent of Christianity. It was religiously held onto, followed, adhered to by these people because they lived in a communal setting, not in this modern life we are living in under AC and all that. Back in the day, yes.
Do you have a thing against AC?
No, because when we talk about modernization, AC is among them.
Ah,
No, I'm not. I don't. There was no AC back in the days, but seriously,
Yeah.
that was the way of life. That's how it was passed on from generation to generation, and it must be adhered to. When you hear the Urobo saying Urobovovo, we know that it means Urobo is one. Though we know literally that it's not one. Yes, it's not one. But
From your perspective.
from my perspective, it's not one. Because you know why I said so?
Why?
There's a place you go to in Delta States when they are Urobos, but when you tell them, they'll tell you they are not Urobos. So how are they one?
Yes. Yeah.
The Okbe man will tell you he's not an Urobo man.
Yeah. So that is a whole.
And
topic
they
for-
are
that's a whole
Urobo.
topic for another day.
And they are Urobo. So that's why I said
Cultural
literally they are.
diversification.
Yeah,
Why do we have that in play?
yeah.
Why
So
do we
literally
have-
they are not really one, even though when they say we are one. So this is not what you can wipe out easily. Over time, modernization has brought about, softening some of these things. What's it called? Cutting off some genital parts
Yeah.
for the women. What's it called? Circumcision.
Circumcision.
On the women's part.
They still do it.
I think yes, some people still do that, but at least it has
In this
reduced.
modern age, some traditional women still do that.
Yes,
As in the babies or the full-grown woman.
whatever. Yes, some tradition still holds on to that thing religiously.
What?
Yes, but
Oh my
like
goodness.
I was trying to, my point I was trying to make is modernization has brought down that thing, unlike how it used to be. Before, it's a must for the Yoruba woman to get married, it has not gone through circumcision, that woman would not even be recognized as a woman back in the day. But this is how it all began. Wow. So as time, was going, we started having this modernization, we started having people who were now thinking positively, in quotes, and trying to relax some of these things. And that's why we have on behalf of the ancestors, the audacity to start talking about why is bride price outrageous or not.
All right. Oh my goodness. What?
Yeah.
Some people still do this female circumcision.
They do.
Not as it's a traditional thing.
It is. Back for them,
I'm
they said
feeling
it
off.
controls the libido of a woman. That's what they believe.
Yeah, but
That's what they believe.
but I feel like that's a punishment. Why?
No, to them, they said it helps to reduce these, what's it called now? Atrocities when it comes to women going out to sleep, extramarital affairs. They say it helps control. It helps control.
It helps.
Yeah, that's what they feel.
But I know for a fact, I know for a fact that such a thing could kill. I can only imagine.
Yeah,
I've actually never thought of this female circumcision thing because I can only imagine the pain it can cause. And why would you say?
You go on, ask why.
This is just triggering me. Like, why would you say that it controls the libido of a woman? But something should be done for the men. Something should be done to also control their own libido too. Because why women? Why is the tradition against women in that case? Why? Mr. Fred, answer me why.
and just to add before we leave, just to add to that prayer during the bride price thing.
Yeah.
The woman with that thing, the woman cannot go and sleep with another man while she's married to a man traditionally. But the man can go outside and do whatever, and nothing will happen to him.
It still brings me back to the question you asked now. Why
I'm
is
trying to help
against...
you. I'm trying to help you. I just
why
say,
is
let me bring that angle to you.
What's the offense? Why is
Let me bring
that
that
angle
angle too.
All right, so lastly, let's talk on the dress code of a proper traditional Urhobo man and proper traditional Urhobo woman. What is, for you, Mr. Fred, what is the dress code of a proper traditional Urhobo man?
Tie your wrapper and your lace top.
Okay.
We call it omiregwa.
Oh, okay.
That's the name of the top. So that's the proper dress code for the normal Urhobo man. Then for the women,
and then the beads. You forgot the beads.
Yeah, the beads. Yes, I'm sorry.
The
beads. Yeah, the beads. Then
and
you have your hat.
Yes,
you have your hat.
And then the walking stick.
The walking stick. Yes, they call it as okpo. For the women, is basically their blouse, the top. There's a way they sew it that distinguishes them from every other tribe. And then you must go on your double wrapper, the one at the top and the one at the bottom. When you tie it from your waist down, there's a one first, then the other one,
Right.
And of course, you also have your beads, of course, and your, what's it called? There's a name for that fan.
Yeah, juju, or what's it called? Yeah.
Even the men also do.
Yeah, the men have theirs. All right, that is it on this episode of Your Perspective to the place of culture in today's world. I hope that you follow through on this, and I hope that you've learned a thing or two, because I learned a lot. I didn't know you learned a thing or two. I learned a lot. All right, drop your comments on our social media platforms displayed on your screen, and we'll be more than glad to read your comments in our next episode. Well, this is it from me, your homegirl Mara Samuels, and my amazing co-host, Mr. Fred O'Neill, and we'll say have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
This is TVM. TVM delivers breaking stories, global headlines, and the moments that matter. From exciting sports action to exclusive local events, we keep you connected. Celebrate our culture, people, and voices with powerful documentaries and inspiring stories. Experience premium entertainment, from trending music to urban lifestyle and beyond. Grow your spirit with life-changing messages and uplifting perspectives. Lead the way with bold conversations, fresh ideas, and thought-provoking shows. Wherever you are, whenever you want, watch TVM on all your devices. TVM, your world, your network. This is TVM. This is TVM. TVM delivers breaking stories, global headlines, and the moments that matter. From exciting sports action to exclusive local events, we keep you connected. Celebrate our culture, people, and voices with powerful documentaries and inspiring stories. Experience premium entertainment, from trending music to urban lifestyle and beyond. Grow your spirit with life-changing messages and uplifting perspectives. Lead the way with bold conversations, fresh ideas, and thought-provoking shows. Wherever you are, whenever you want, watch TVM on all your devices. TVM, your world, your network.
Welcome to another episode of Money and Markets. It is a time where we break things really simplified and for everyone to understand what we talk about on this program, very educative and enlightening. And today we will be looking at something that is very common in the news space, especially when it comes to business news. We have heard, even up down to the market women, they've heard the acronym GDP. Yes, GDP this, GDP that. And for most Nigerians, they don't even know what this actually stands for. But we will be breaking things really nicely today to let you know what GDP is all about. Well, the Nigerians are struggling when it comes to the economic reality of things. But like I said, we will take a look at one very good thing that affects the economy when it comes to annual statistics. Well, let's go deep into what GDP is all about. GDP is an acronym for Gross Domestic Product. It simply means what's the total value of what a country produces in a particular year, given a particular year. All right, now these include farm produce, like food, goods from factories, services that are seen in transport, telecoms, banking, market trading, and of course tailoring, hairdressing, even up to your POS business. So if Nigeria produces more goods and services, then you begin to hear the narrative saying the GDP is going up or has, risen. If production slows down, then you will hear the other narrative that was saying the GDP has fallen or is down. We'll take a critical look, for instance, an instance right now to buttress what we just talked about, like Nigeria being a big or a large market where we have buyers, so many in the space, and of course sellers are there also doing business, selling as it were, and then money is moving around. You say that the market is definitely positive or healthy as it were, and you say it's alive. All right, so that is GDP growth. But if buyers price, I mean, you have buyers, people who want to buy goods, they come into the market and the price, like, what they call window shopping. All they just do is price and price. They just look for prices, or goods are not moving because, when you have buyers who come into the market space to price, do their window shopping, definitely goods will not be moving around. That will also definitely translate into traders who will now go on borrowing to restock, probably to get, because most of these buyers will come, this product is not here and that product is not here, so they have to do some restocking and stuff like that. So when this happens, we in the economic space will say that the market is probably open and it's not healthy. We say the market is sick. To buttress further what we are talking about, just to explain the Nigeria's GDP situation, we have on the screen graphics for you to understand the time, the simple economy that we have before, and we'll also look at the complex economy that we have right now. Now, when you look at the graphics in front of you, you'll find that this is according to, by the way, the National Bureau of Statistics, the NBS, and of course the World Bank Nigeria data. These are sources, so it's not just me creating them. All right, now, before now, we have smaller population. All right, we're looking at the simple economy that we had back then, probably decades ago. We have smaller population, we have lower cost of living, and of course prices were very slow in terms of wanting to increase prices and all of that. In such, we say that the GDP growth was felt more by everyone, the everyday Nigerian. But let's fast forward to today, where we have where the economy is referred to as a complex economy. The population has gone really, really high. According to statistics, Nigeria's population is pegged at about 220 plus million people. And yes, that's an outburst of population there. And then we have a high inflation as well, which translates also into a high cost of living. We also have the purchasing power of the local currency. We talked about this one in one of our episodes, where you now have your weak purchasing power. So in this particular sphere, we say that the GDP growth, is not felt by everyone. So this is why the GDP can grow on paper, all right, while in the harsh reality, we see that hunger grows in the land. And this brings us to a very, very important fact that Nigerians must know. GDP is measured in two things, okay? One of them is that GDP is measured by activity and not by comfort. It also measures production. Yeah, GDP measures production and not suffering. So no matter how Nigerians complain that they are suffering and all of that, GDP it has no business with that. What it does is it measures production, what is produced in the country annually, like I said earlier on, and then it measures activity, how the movement of goods and services, and in return income or revenue move around the economy. This is what GDP measures, and not comfort and not suffering. Now we're going to take a look at because we just talked about the how GDP measures things, right? What it measures rather in the economy, as it were. Now we will look at the annual growth rate of Nigeria's GDP in a particular era. Now, according to the NBS and of course every other stats that we have, sources for our stats that we have, pegged Nigeria's economy as the biggest in Africa. Now, we have different sectors in the economy. Services is one of them, and it is the largest sector. It is the largest sector of the Nigerian economy, accounting for about 50%. Yeah, 50% of the total gross domestic product, which is the GDP. Now, in that particular sector, we have subsectors as well. One of the fastest growing subsectors in services are information and communication, which together account for about 10% of the total output for the GDP. Now, another sector we can look at is agriculture, which is, in the past, was actually the biggest sector in the Nigeria economy, but now it has weighed down to about 23%, when you want to compare that to what services are bringing into the Nigeria economy. We also have crude petroleum, yeah, and of course natural gas. Well, they constitute only about 11% of a total GDP, while being the main exports. This oil and gas is the main exports for the country, Nigeria, but it only constitutes or contributes only about 11%, according to data available to us. Now, we also see that industry and construction account for the remaining 16% of GDP. So when you calculate the number of percentage I brought in now in services, in agriculture, in industry, you get to understand that the remaining percent for industry and construction take that remaining part, which is about 16% of the GDP. All right, so for the Nigerian GDP growth in the third quarter of 2025, we saw a kind of slowing down in the growth, but economically, the GDP remained solid. Now, I will break this down. Let's look at year-on-year, the third quarter of 2025. The Nigeria economy grew by 3.98%. That's year-on-year, statistics or calculations right there. And that's a slowing down from what we saw in the same period in the third quarter of 2024. Now, this is some mathematical calculations, so I'm trying to break it really down for everyone to understand. Now, in the third quarter of 2024, we saw the Nigerian economy expanded by 4.23%, but as at the third quarter of 2025, that's why I said year-on-year calculation right there, we saw a slowing down to 3.98%, which was, the strongest. Talking about the third quarter of 2024, we saw that was one of the strongest growth prior to the second quarter of 2021. So in the non-oil sector, let's take away oil and gas now. In the non-oil sector, especially for services and the others, which contributed, like I said, a large chunk of to the GDP, that's about 96.6%. Well, in the third quarter of 2025, that particular non-oil sector contributed about 3.91% in growth. That's an increase when you compare that to the second quarter of 2025, where it was pegged at 3.64%. And now this was mainly boosted by agriculture, where we saw a rise in agricultural inputs by 3.79%, as against 2.82% in the second quarter of 2023. We also saw a contribution of information and communication, though there was a marginal decline in that contribution from that sector. From the information and communication, the second quarter of 2025 saw the growth rate of 6.61%, but then at the third quarter, it was 5.78%. Now, for real estate, another contributor to the GDP, we saw a marginal decline as well. In the second quarter, we saw it pegged at 3.79%, but then in the third quarter, it fell down to 3.50%. What about the financial insurance? From the financial insurance aspect, let's see what it did contribute. We saw that there was a slight improvement, well, not slight, we saw a major improvement in that particular aspect, where in the second quarter it was pegged at 16.13%, but then in the third quarter of 2025 it was 19.63%. Now we can go on and on and on to give you all the stats. You know, we will definitely be doing that. We will take our time to analyze this for you to get a better understanding of what the GDP is all about. Well, we'll take a breather from now. We'll go on a commercial break. When we return, we'll continue from where we stopped, still analyzing what the GDP gave us about a particular period in time, you know, a particular era. We'll also be looking at this particular third and second quarter of 2025 as it relates to the annual GDP rate in Nigeria. Stay with us for more analysis.
At DSAG Engineering and Services, we anticipate, manage, and deliver. Since 2000, we have been a leading EPC company, ensuring customer satisfaction through quality service and timely delivery. With integrity, proficiency, and innovation at our core, we provide world-class solutions tailored to your needs. From engineering designs and construction to procurement.
Can you introduce yourself and tell us a bit of your background into software development?
Okay. My name is Paul Okodowa, and I've been working in the software industry for, say, almost a decade now, 8 years to be precise. And you know, so it was, my introduction into tech was not so straightforward. It wasn't so straightforward. So I started from customer service all the way to customer success, and then I moved to content writing. From content writing then to learning software engineering. So software engineering to content creation, you know, like educational content creation. And that's where I am now. So it's not been a very, very straight journey. But it was, I think my introduction into tech started when you know, I started learning to build websites at the beginning, you know, WordPress and where I was trying to do. Okay, it was HTML. Okay, I think I'm getting it now. I was teaching in a school where I teach people how to design with CorelDRAW, Microsoft Word, you know, those other stuff that we have those days. And there was this book in the office, and it has this how to build a website, very big book. It's from those O'Reilly, I think O'Reilly's how to build website. And I can remember that the first website there in that book was to build a website for a football team called Carnington Cougars. That's the name of the football team. And so I was following it bit by bit, just going through the HTML bit by bit. And I kind of really got interested because it was very easy to just translate what's inside the book all the way to the PC. That was my first experience trying to build website, and then went all the way to Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver was, you know, was a terrible software though. So I went all the way to Dreamweaver, and then it was from Dreamweaver, just kept on learning, and then YouTube became very popular, and jumped into YouTube and started learning as much as I could. But it was, for the job part of it, it was majorly from customer success. So I didn't just go all the way to website, because I really did not know anything. I had the knowledge, but I really did not know how to put it into use. But I was doing customer success for a tech company. So that's how it just kept on going.
What was that inspiration? From customer success down to software development, now you're into content creation. Although I don't like using the word content creation as a job description, because even if you are creating content about what you do. So what you do is the job.
Oh, okay.
You know, so what was your inspiration towards all through this journey, from one point to the next point? What inspired you to move and get to that point?
Okay, so the first time I was building a website, very cheap website. Then I got that job as a customer success guy. So I was paid 35,000 a month. I can imagine how lean that was. So I was paid 40,000, and then there was tax. There was not tax, it was insurance, I guess. And I think it was 5,000 and then it was 9,000 actually. So I was paying 5,000, my company was paying 4,000, and my take home was 30,000. But the guys those who were building software, they were earning way, way more than I was. So I was the one involved in scouting the customer, making sure the customer come do business with us. But I was earning very, very low, very, very little. And but aside the fact that I was earning little, I'm somebody who's very, very interested in being the one who's at the top and not the one who's below. So I knew that the easiest way for me to do that would be to build software personally, to move all the way from customer service and build software, even though that doesn't seem like the right thing to do at this in 2025 right now. But what I did was I was taking time to, upskill myself and sell my services outside what I was doing for the company. So I was doing customer success. I had things like templates on how to close deals. I had contract draft. So I had access to all the things that was used in that particular company I was working for. So what I did, so I started to freelance on the side, not trying to build software like they did, because I really did not know the technology they were using. I don't know, I'm not good at the technology, but I knew the technology they were using, but I'm not very good at it. So I started to freelance on the side. So I started with website development. That's what I started with, and just kept on going. And then website development, I was doing website development for Nigerians, right? But you know how Nigerians can be. Somebody says, I'm going to pay you 200,000, and that 200,000, you will use it to design heaven and earth for me. So I wasn't so comfortable with kind of relationship I was having with Nigerians. So I thought, what would be the easiest thing for me to do for people outside? So I realized that probably my decision then, probably if I continued with web design, I would have been able to take it outside. But my decision then was that I was going to begin to build software, build web software, internal tools, external tools for people outside the country. And that's just basically how I just started, building all of that. So when I say I'm a content creator, maybe that's the wrong word to use, because I don't create content that makes people happy and all that stuff. So I would say that I'm a teacher. So I teach, I teach software development. Tech education. I teach software development online. That's what I do. So I don't really entertain anybody. In fact, if you're looking forward to be entertained, you won't really watch my content. You won't.
Now, down to the tech, because I understand that there are careers or skills or businesses that thrive in the right ecosystem, right? So is there a developer hub in Benin, because you are based in Benin right now? Is there kind of a group, a developer hub, where you guys kind of share ideas, or what's the word, troubleshoot problems like in Benin? Yeah.
Okay. I think the good thing about being a developer is that you don't have to be in a local circle, right? It's a choice if you want to be in a local circle or if you don't want to be in a local circle. It's just a choice thing. Okay. It's not something that is very compulsory, like maybe like people who sell clothes, yams, and the rest. You don't have to. But in Benin City or Nigeria at large, they have various developer groups that you can belong to. There's a Google developer group. There is Untitled Designers. There's a whole lot of different groups that you can belong to. You just have to probably find them on LinkedIn, or probably go to Eventbrite and sign up for one of their events, attend the events, and you definitely become a member or become a friend to the people who, become a friend to the persons who host those design conferences, right? But for outside, you can just really start from Google searching. So people are very, I think the tech community is one of those communities where people encourage you a lot, even though people can still discourage you a lot, because when you see people getting a lot of results and you're not getting that result, it's discouragement. But if you're just getting started, they can really encourage you. There are tons and tons of Slack groups that you can join. There are tons of online meetups that you can do. Some persons even do morning brew, like morning coffee sections, like every Monday, every weekend. So you just join them and you get acquainted with what's happening in your industry at that time. So you could actually join as many groups as possible.
So aside these internal resources, because what you just described sounds to me like resources made available by people who are in development.
Sure.
Now, are there other, do you think that in the government, state government, federal government have made enough resource available for young developers? And then if they haven't, what do you think is missing in the whole development system in Nigeria, developer system in Nigeria, from the perspective of the government, not within your group now?
Okay, I think personally that the ecosystem in Nigeria is not thriving yet. Privately, the ecosystem is thriving a bit, but the thing is everybody is doing things in silence, secretly in their rooms. I personally have been in my room for the past 3 years just working and not really coming out, right? But in terms of the government aspect of things, I would say a complete no. I would say no because there's a whole lot of things that is needed for a developer to thrive. If you don't have some very constant factor, you will not be able to thrive as a developer, irrespective of the part of the country that you are. For example, if you do not have light, you will not be able to thrive. Your productivity is directly proportional to how much light time you have and how much network you have. There's sometimes I'm working personally and network just goes off. I can't continue. Probably I'm on a call and the next thing I just realized that my network just dropped to 0. I can't continue with the call and the person is saying, hello. You just have to wait for the call to end or wait for the network to come back, and then you go send an apology note. Hey, I'm sorry, it's the network. So you keep on saying that same thing multiple times, right? So I don't think that the government is providing a lot of resource for people who are working remotely or people who are in the digital space. You have to cover up so many things yourself. I did a boot camp. We had 4,000 persons in the boot camp. Lots of persons, while they were on the boot camp, lots of them had light fluctuations in different part of the country, not like the same part of the country, different part of the country. A lot of them had light fluctuations. You won't believe that their laptop got fried. Many of them. Some of them, their transformer just went off. Wow. Their laptop got fried. So you can usually see pictures of people who say, hey, my motherboard just went bad. Why? Because light just fluctuated. There are some persons who say, I started this boot camp to learn, but in the process of this boot camp, they came and they took my transformer away. As crazy as that is, they took my transformer away and now I can't really join the boot camp. So I think there have to be adequate resources put together for people who are working remotely or who are building application, from security to light to even credit facility for you to acquire gadgets. Naira is not doing so well in the market. I remember when I started, say like 8 years ago, you could actually get a brand new PC for 90,000. That's how much I got my first brand new PC, 90,000. But now, if you want to get a brand new PC, you should be thinking like maybe 2.5 million.
Exactly.
So if you are a developer, irrespective of how good you are, there are some things that you will not be able to do if you do not have a very good PC that you want to use, right? So I think credit line will be a very good thing for the government to do. You borrowing money to get gadgets at 36%, it's a very, very terrible deal.
At DSAG Engineering and Services, we anticipate, manage, and deliver. Since 2000, we have been a leading EPC company, ensuring customer satisfaction through quality service and timely delivery. With integrity, proficiency, and innovation at our core, we provide world-class solutions tailored to your needs. From engineering designs and construction to procurement, manpower outsourcing, and maritime supplies, DSAG delivers excellence. Partner with us today. Visit www.dsag.net or call +23 4807 254 8724. DSAG Engineering and Services. Anticipate, manage, deliver.
Welcome back to the concluding part of this conversation. And before we went on that short break, Engineer Poyo was telling us about the difficulty or what the government can do to make it easier. And I tend to agree with him because, these days, the tech and the media space are kind of an outlet for young people to make a living. We don't have people vying for conventional jobs anymore. People are leaning inwards towards developing their skill and making money out of it. I for one, I can attest to the fact that it costs a whole lot of money to get power for production purposes for a day, to get data for a day. So it's actually crazy, to spend 15,000, 20,000 naira a day just for fuel to power gen because there was no national power. And meanwhile, you still pay for those. And there was one other thing too that I would like to chip into. There was also the difficulty in payments. Yeah, it's one thing I've noticed. We go through a lot in this country. Yeah. You want to buy something online outside the country, you go through hell to pay your money. It's not like you want to take somebody's money. Your own money that you have to pay for a product or pay for a software or pay for something or a plugin or whatever it is, you go through hell to get it. I don't know what policy operates that, but man, it's not fair to young developers. It's not fair to young tech people. So thank you for being with us, Engineer Paul.
Yeah, just want to chip in on that idea. Being able to collect payment as a person. So, if you are a freelancer or you're a tech person who's based in Nigeria or maybe other third world country, especially Nigeria, you will find it difficult to make payment and accept payment. I think there are a lot of policies that's making sure that these so-called big guys are able to charge directly your Nigerian card, or as long as your IP address is from Nigeria, there's just so many services that you can't really access. Just thinking of, I was going to pay for Google Cloud services just a few days ago. I tried my local card, it didn't work. I tried my foreign card, it didn't work. Tried a French card, it didn't work. It just doesn't work. This is something that if you live in the UK or you live in any other country, you're able to do this as easy as possible. But because you're in Nigeria, it's difficult. Even if you were building products in Nigeria and you're building for people who live in maybe in the UK or in the US, there is hardly any infrastructure that is based in Nigeria that you can use to charge that person. Right? You would have to rely on Amazon, or you have to rely on Stripe. You have to rely on other tools that when you charge that person, you are going to pay your tax to those other persons. I mean, recently I was taxed $33 simply because I was charging somebody penny. I mean, the amount of money I was going to charge this person is so low, and before I was able to complete that transaction, I was charged as much as $33 just to complete a very simple transaction like that. That's how hard it is for people to transfer money. So I think that's something that the government will have to look on. Else, Nigeria will not be able to compete in a global space. We'll just keep building fintech products, or we'll keep on building the same product for the same people over and over and over again, and which is very, very, very terrible, if you ask me.
Aside from even expanding the tech space, I don't like the fintech because it's like fintech is the only thing we do in Nigeria. We'll come to that. Absolutely. But aside from expanding the tech space, it's taxable income that the government could actually do some. We pay tax to foreign governments simply because
every day you pay tax to foreign government every day
simply because we freelance.
Yes, everything you do as a freelancer, you're doing it majorly in foreign currency, especially if you're somebody, okay, let's say for example now, if you're working on Upwork is a place where you go to bid for jobs. If you're working on Upwork, you would you first of all buy Upwork coins. They call it Comet. First of all, pay for that in dollars, right? And then when they give you, see how your Upwork money will go. When they give you product to work on an Upwork, I think they charge you about 30%. So that's minus 30%. Now you have your own 70%. Let's say the person is charging you $100. You're charging the person $100. Upwork take 30%, between the range of 20 to 30%, depending on how, I think 10 to 30%, depending on the price range of the project. And then that person gives you $70. Upwork is supposed to send that money to you, but they can't send the money to you because you don't have
the facility.
Not just facility, there's government restriction as to how much money you can collect, you can receive from Upwork. You can't, Upwork cannot send it to you. So what you do is that you would have to open an account in America, but you do it through a private company, right? Those guys, they will then charge you a particular percent for receiving that money from you first. And then, let's say, for example, that the standard rate of Naira is about 1,600 Naira at this point, I guess. And then they too, that same company will sell Naira for you like 1,550 something Naira. So for every $1 that they give you, they collect from you, they will charge you 45 Naira extra after charging the percentage to collect the money from you. So you see, if you're charged, if it's 100 Naira, it's $100 that they are collecting, they are processing for you to your local bank account in Naira. They will charge you 45 Naira times 100, depending on the rate. Sometimes it can be as much as 100 Naira.
Wow.
Right, so that means you pay 4,500 Naira just to take that money from that virtual account to your Naira account. So you can see how much you lose. 30% to Upwork, you come down, you lose about 2 to 5% to maybe GigPay or any of these other two, and then they want to transfer it to your account, you lose about 45 Naira per person. So you see how much you're losing. If we had the infrastructure, right, it would have been very easy for government to handle that. Other countries are doing it. India handle their payment themselves. China does it. South Africa does it. Other countries are doing it. So I think the blockage in finance, so to say, we have the infrastructure because we were doing this before.
Yeah.
We had the infrastructure, but I don't know what happened. I'm not a financial expert, but I think the government just came one day and said, hey, stop it.
I have my theory, but I don't want to say it here because this is not the platform for it. But I have my theory. There's something I believe is the reason why, because I do pay. I remember when AliExpress was kind of getting traction.
Yeah, you pay with your normal Naira card.
I pay with my normal Naira.
I used to
card.
pay with FCMB myself.
I buy stuff from AliExpress and resell in Nigeria. All of a sudden, one government came and said, no, I don't know why. They would give you reasons for money laundering or whatever. But my thinking is you do not throw away the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah, you do not stop 200 million people from receiving money from America simply because
a few of them will do money laundering.
200 persons are into money laundering, right? You know, I went to, do you know the funny thing, Lawrence? The funny thing here is, because of this issue, I went to FCMB to go open a domiciliary account because they said, okay, it's a domiciliary account, it's fine. Then I happened to have courses on Skillshare. And that first time I made some money on Skillshare, and it was about 72, about $100 and something US dollars like that. In order for me to, I made about $100 and something dollars. So I wanted to collect the money. I put my FCMB DOM account as the account that you send the money to. Normally, it ought to get to you as dollars, right? You know what happened? To get that money from Skillshare here, right, they had charged me about $49 already.
Wow.
I'm telling you, just to get the money from Skillshare's account to this account, they
said 50, but they say they're dashing you.
They are charging me $49 US. And then when that money came, you won't believe the rest. It came as Naira. FCMB said it was a mistake or something. They sent FCMB converted the money to Naira for me by themselves, right? And I had to go and pick. Do you know how much got to me? From $100 and something. Do you know how much got to me? 24,000 Naira. That's how much got to me. So that's how crazy. That's how crazy the policy can be.
Less than $30.
That's less than $30. Yeah. That's how crazy the policy can be.
Wow.
That's how much got to me. And I think at that time dollar was about 700 something Naira. That's what got to me from changing about 130 something US dollars and sending it to Nigeria. to me was that price. And funny, I had to go to the bank itself to go and make sure this thing worked. FCMB said, we forgot, oh my God, we changed it. They changed it for me. They changed this thing for me.
Well, we have to move on. We have to move on. We are not policy makers. We can only just ask.
Absolutely.
Now, there is something I've noticed in the Nigeria tech space. We have great developers, good developers who can make some fantastic, for instance, look at our fintech. Like our fintech is one of the most robust out there. We do mobile payments easily. There are a lot of banks in Nigeria that do not have offices that people even know. But
absolutely,
60 to 70% of Nigeria's bank with them. Why have we not been able to translate this success in fintech to SaaS, software as a service, provide other services? The other things we could do with software. Why is it just the financial space that is?
Okay. So I think a lot of persons are doing this already, but you will normally find these persons in Port Harcourt. So if you're watching us and you want to go into spaces that are other than the fintech space, Port Harcourt is a place that you should be, not Lagos or Abuja or any of those places. So you would normally find most of these guys in Port Harcourt. So I used to have a work colleague. He's the owner of CEO, I think, of Pipes. Pipes is a very cool tool for DevOps. I know a couple of persons in Port Harcourt who are doing this, but I think the Lagos boys and the around Nigeria boys, they have to be doing a fintech for something, fintech for anything. So the fintech space has become so competitive that your success is directly proportional to how much money you're willing to waste. So if you have a fintech app, Uber for Suya or a Suya app, Abeg, any of these apps like that, your app will become very successful if you have a lot of marketing budget, or you can bring the price very low. So let's say, for example, the standard CBN rate is 10% per transaction, and you personally, you are charging 5 naira per transaction. So you're the one covering the 5 naira for CBN, right? So let's say you have, as long as you're willing to cover that 5 naira, as low as 5 naira, or probably this 50 naira fee that people pay whenever they transfer above 10,000 naira. If you say, okay, I have 300 million, maybe $10 million in the bank account, I can cover that 50 naira for maybe 100 million transactions. People will leave you complex services like MoneyPoint, OPay, and jump all the way to you. Right, so it's a very volatile market. People get into fintech to lose money, not to make money, right? So anyway, that's a talk for another day. But for reasons why people don't do business to business, because there's really no business. Yeah, you can really quote me anywhere. There's really no business to do business to business software for in Nigeria. Majority of the people that we sell to in Nigeria, they are customers. So it's business to customer. So you almost can't do business to business in Nigeria. You fail. You will not really succeed because there's so many things. There is not enough business in Nigeria for you to have a business software for a particular kind of people. Because when you're building business to business software learns, you have to niche to a particular set of people. Say, for example, we say you are building, today I was reading about a guy who built a software for people who own pet farms, private pet farms in the US. I think it should be pet farms in the US. So that's a business to business something. People who want to manage their pet farms, they will pay for it. So then if you bring it back to Nigeria, let's say, for example, you want to build a software that people can use to manage bakery. So the question now is, how many bakery do you have in Nigeria? Right, and how many bakeries will be willing to use a tech product like that, and for free? And how many persons will be willing to pay for that product in order for you to optimize their business? So when you have few business in Nigeria, like the number of businesses in Nigeria is few, but the business that we have in Nigeria are people who just hand to hand, let's just do the things that we can. I'm selling Suya, I'm selling Zinc. But if you say core SMEs, we really don't have SMEs that you can really, really build for. I will always say that Nigeria is the opposite of South Africa. South Africa has so many B2B products that people are saying, oh, how can we build B2C products? Nigeria has too many B2C products. Everyone is saying we are all the business. So we don't have the market for any B2B product. And another thing is, this is the one that will break the camel's back. Nigerians don't like paying for anything, especially if it's a made in Nigerian product. Nigerians don't like paying for. If there's no white man inside, if you want to sell to a lot of Nigerians, you have to use a white guy as your advert guy. Yeah. If there's no white guy inside, if you're not saying like this product is made from China, this product is made from UK, one UK address, one American address, and lots of Nigerians don't really think that it is very, very cool, right? And Nigerians hate paying for something. Somebody made a post recently on Twitter, and the person said that Instagram, they're charging about 2,400 naira a year for premium. I think they were doing it on promo or something. Do you know what Nigerian said, Lawrence? They said, don't worry, don't pay. Don't pay. I have a cheat that will enable you to have it for 2,400. This is less than
that's like 2,000 a month.
That's like 200 naira a month. 200 naira a month.
Yeah, that's 200 naira.
Yes, and that's $1.50 or something a year. And the Nigerian person came around and said, telling people not to pay, that he has a cheat code.
Yeah.
So talk less of you're building a B2B software and with all the cloud infrastructure, everything that you want to do, and so you're charging. So I think what Nigerians should do, if you're a software developer, I think what you should do is that you should build for outside the country. Wow. Just build for outside the country. The Nigerian market itself is not ready for business to business software. I remember when MoneyPoint came. I think they were not MoneyPoint before. They were another name. They were providing infrastructure for banks, for FCMB, all these other banks. That's what they were doing. And their infrastructure was helping the banks make a whole lot of money, right? And the banks, they were not fulfilling their own side of the bargain the way they should. So what they did was they called out two guys and said, okay, I think we can deploy this infrastructure ourselves. Since we're the owner of this infrastructure, I think we should create a product that we'll be able to use to deploy this infrastructure. We'll use our own infrastructure for another product. So they called out two guys, and those guys started researching on this product called MoneyPoint. So they started in Lagos, a very small catchment area in Lagos. They produced the POS, and they were going to collect feedback, right? And the feedback they noticed was that payout was a thing. Like payout, the other banks will wait, they will pay you the next day. So MoneyPoint now came out with a solution that we're going to settle you that same evening. At the end of business, we will settle you. So once Nigerians heard that these people, they settle you same business day, everybody bought it. So though they were still giving bank infrastructure, but MoneyPoint began to grew so big that they were processing as much as 2 billion. They are now processing way more than bank on a daily basis.
That bank is not. I see that bank in my perspective as the biggest bank in Nigeria. That almost every business
is using MoneyPoint now. So they started processing so much money, they left their infrastructure business, and MoneyPoint is now the business now. No more infrastructure business. I'm not sure they still provide infrastructure for any banks now. They left all of those stuff, and now it's MoneyPoint. So majority of the businesses that are in Nigeria now, if you own a software business, it's not advisable to build a software business in Nigeria. Instead, build a software business that you personally can use to work directly with the customers. That's how you make money. Else you're just going to be there. You're not going to make money.
So meaning before there has to be a cultural mentality shift.
Absolutely. Before you can build anything B2B, there have to be a culture shift that everybody likes to pay for what they consume. Like we have to be a country where we understand there's no free meal everywhere.
Let me play the devil's advocate here. I'm not sure I would blame Nigerians totally, because we have been burnt a lot of times for instance, power company now. Power company is one big example that burns us. We pay, like if you live in areas where you do what they call postpaid. Is it postpaid? Yeah, postpaid. You won't understand what I like. Where you just pay a fixed amount a month, you just come and give you 35, 40,000 naira bill a month. If you don't pay more than 80% of that, they disconnect you. And that has been the method from time. So you have, for instance, you could buy data. I'm not mentioning any network. You could buy data. There is one very notorious one that gives a lot of cheap data that doesn't work. You buy data and you struggle to use the data, it will not work. So I think there's a little bit of mistrust. I think there's a mistrust. We don't even trust once foreigners bring. Then the Nigerian man that is like us, that has our same mind, will not trust that one. So, but the truth is, it's not always like that. Because in my mind, the way I see that, like if all this fintech, all these mobile banks in Nigeria are doing well, we should not struggle with software development in any other thing.
No, Nigerians, believe me, I personally work for, I barely work with Nigerians, I work for people outside, and they don't really have any trouble with the software that I build. Nigerians build very, very good software. We build great software, very good software. We work for people all over the country. If you go on GitHub, I think Nigeria should be the country with the third highest Git commit in the world, not in Africa, I mean in the world. So we should be like, we have some of the best software developers in the world. So we work well, but I think the thing here is how Nigerians interpret value. Yeah. A lot of Nigerians don't interpret value the way people see it. For example, I'll take app design for an example. Somebody comes to you and say, hey Lawrence, I need you to build an app for me. And you say, okay, I'm going to build it. And say, how much? You say, okay, the guy says, I'm going to pay you $1 million. And you say, no, it's 10 million you have to pay. And then the guy says, and you say, no, I'm not going to pay. I will not build it. And the person, you hear words like, it's not ordinary to sit down on the chair and be drawing something on the screen. Just to draw and give me, and that's what you are saying. That's what you are charging $1 million for. Or maybe you're a video editor and the person says, edit this thing for me. You say, how much? Say, I'm going to bill you 300K to edit this 1 hour clip. And the person says, eh? So just to join this bad part. Yeah. So I think because we are paid on a monthly basis, not on an hourly basis. Yeah, so we really don't understand what it means to sit on a chair to do stuff for 1 hour.
I've been designing for almost 6-7 years. I've never designed for a Nigeria, except the ones I just do for my friends and just give them for free. But to design for a Nigerian, I get paid. In fact, I don't even have graphic design to my portfolio because when I came to, the first time I moved to Benin City, I went to print some designs I did from one of these print press like that. And I met somebody there who was talking with their in-house designer, and they finished doing very beautiful design. And he gave this man 1,000 naira. And the guy said, thank you, sir. And I met the guy like, why? How much do you pay for design here? Because I design very well too. Say, 1,000 or 2,000 naira. I'm like, oh, really? Yes. I removed the title graphic design, but I just wiped it off. You won't be giving me 2,000 naira for my hard work.
You see the way
kind of thing is that I wiped it off. And I mostly design for foreigners.
So we have to be able to interpret what value means. Yeah. So because we really don't know how to interpret value, and we do not understand what time, we don't understand the value for people and also value for time, even time as regards to our business. A Nigerian person will prefer to use a spreadsheet than to use a normal spreadsheet than to use Google Sheet or than to pay for Google Sheet. You just prefer to do it the hard way because you think, oh, I'm not sure I'm going to, I want to lose this kind of money. But we would have to be able to interpret loss and optimization. Because what all this software does is that they help you to optimize your business so you can focus on other things. But because of the way a lot of Nigerian businesses are built, they are not built for growth. They are built to just survive. So you can't be selling software to businesses that just want to survive. So, but you see the American businesses, a solopreneur can be running 3-4 businesses, right? Because he's automating them with software. And so if the person would say, okay, how much am I supposed to be paying a staff? If I'm paying a staff in America $15 per hour, and I'm paying this person 5 hours a day to do business, to do something for me, and that means this person is going to work 31 days in a month or 30 days a month, Is it not better for me to just buy software, pay $100 a month that will automate everything that this other person would do? So that means instead of paying 5 times 8 is about 40, 40 times 30 is about 1,200. Instead of paying 1,200 naira, $200 a month, it would be a lot better for me to pay $100 a month to a software that will optimize everything that person is supposed to do. I will just sit down on my chair, take 1 hour, or pay a developer 1 hour who will set up this thing for me, and for the rest of the month, it just runs.
Well, I hope we get to that. I hope we get to that point. I hope we get to that point because it's increasingly becoming, I don't want to use the word frustrating, it's painful to see. I know a lot of what softwares can do, particularly the influx of artificial intelligence that we have now. A lot of my productions now I do with artificial intelligence. I pay for them, and it's made my job easier. I do not have to get a whole lot of people to work for me anymore. It kind of makes things easier, even in terms of even things when you're developing a plan, developing a structure.
Yeah.
So all those things come in handy. I think as Nigerians, we should start doing better to understand value, appreciate value, and at least pay the right price for value. I think we have covered everything that we have to cover on the time for this episode will take us. I would have loved to ask Engineer Paul if he has advice for any upcoming developer, but if you ask me, he has thrown nuggets all through our conversation for upcoming developer. If you are developing right now in Nigeria, he said, try and look for clients outside the country.
Absolutely.
Just try and look for, so you survive, because it's not cheap.
Absolutely.
It's not cheap to run
your business.
Yeah, it's cheap to run your business here. So you try and look for clients outside the country. Then if you are a policymaker in this government, let's be fair to Nigerian youths. They are the future of this country. If you want to be honest with yourself and you want to know how Nigeria will be when you leave, try to extrapolate 20 to 30 years time. The only type of people in Nigeria are people like you, who all they know is politics. How would Nigeria be? If 90% of Nigerians are politicians, how would the country be? So if you're a politician or a policymaker, think like that. Regardless of how beautiful politics is now, you still need the software developers. You still need the media technologists. You still need the bankers. You still need teachers. A lot of government schools now, that's a topic for another day, but a lot of government schools now are filled up with old teachers. And I keep asking myself, by the time all these people retire, who is going to be teaching? You still need teachers. You still need your drivers. You still need all these people. And if you keep making the environment uncomfortable for them, they start looking for resource outside. And before you know, they'll leave you alone in the country.
Absolutely.
So please, to our policymakers, let's try to make things easy for our Nigerian youth to better their life. So thank you very much, Mr. Paul.
You're welcome.
I appreciate your time.
Me too.
And if you want to understand what he meant by Nigerians can develop software, check out our TV app. He did that. Just go to the Play Store or the App Store, download the app. He did that. That was him. So thank you very much. It's a beautiful application.
This is TVM. TVM delivers breaking stories, global headlines, and the moments that matter. From exciting sports action to exclusive local events, we keep you connected. Celebrate our culture, people, and voices with powerful documentaries and inspiring stories. Experience premium entertainment, from trending music to urban lifestyle and beyond. Grow your spirit with life-changing messages and uplifting perspectives. Lead the way with bold conversations, fresh ideas, and thought-provoking shows. Wherever you are, whenever you want, watch TVM on all your devices. TVM, your world, your network.
Welcome to Dursag Engineering and Services Limited. a trusted name in the oil and gas industry, proudly registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission since the year 2000. We hold several specialized permits with the Department of Petroleum Resources, are accredited with service and product codes by NIPEX, certified by Dun & Bradstreet, and proudly ISO 9001:2015 certified. Our head office is strategically located at 43 Airport Road, Warri, Delta State, Nigeria. At DERSAG, our areas of expertise cut across critical sectors, including manpower sourcing and supply, both local and highly trained expatriate personnel. Engineering services across civil, electrical, instrumentation, and mechanical works. Construction and fabrication works. Specialized procurement and supply. Operations and maintenance services. And integrated marine services, delivering supply boats, crew boats, tugboats, barges, houseboats, and speed boats. We are proud partners to some of the industry's leading players, including NNPC and its subsidiaries, Seplat Petroleum, First Hydrocarbon Nigeria Limited, ND Western, Saipem Contracting Nigeria Limited, and Lee Engineering and Construction, among others. Over the years, we have successfully executed manpower, EPC, and marine support projects with a strong record of excellence. At DERSAG Engineering, we are committed to quality, safety, and timely delivery, ensuring that every project meets and exceeds expectations. DERSAG Engineering and Services Limited, your trusted partner in delivering world-class engineering and energy solutions.
You're welcome to TVM's Metro Updates, coming to you from our studios in the metropolitan town of Warri, Delta State. I am Mara Samuels, and these are the news making rounds this hour. Have taken over the oil city of Warri. It is a historic homecoming as Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu arrives in her maternal ancestral home of Warri, Delta State to a hero's welcome. Thousands of Deltans lined the streets from the airport to the palace of the Olu of Warri, Ogiame Atuashi III. The air is thick with celebration as the daughter of the soil returns to connect with her roots. Security is tight, but the mood is festive, with cultural tropes from across the Niger Delta putting on a spectacular display of heritage. Beyond the festivities, the visit is seen as a significant bridge-building moment. While the First Lady is here for personal and communal reasons, the political and social weight of her presence in Delta State cannot be overstated. The First Lady is expected to hold a private audience with the Olu and key community leaders before attending a grand reception held in her honor. It is a day of pride, tradition, and a deep sense of belonging. At the time of reporting this, the First Lady is still expected at the Palace of the Olu of Warri, venue of the civic reception in honor of the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu. We'll bring you more on the updates of these reports. Still on Delta News, Delta security operations to a string of violent crimes. The arrest, which took place in the heart of the state, has led to the recovery of illicit weaponry used in terrorizing local residents. 23-year-old Collins Darlington is currently in police custody following a high-stakes intelligence operation by the Delta State Command. Authorities have identified Darlington, an indigene of Ugewe community in Ugeli South, as a key player in the recent wave of robberies plaguing the Warri metropolis. The breakthrough occurred on February 22nd at approximately 3:20 p.m. Acting on credible intelligence, tactical teams moved in on the Oto Oweku area of Ugeli where the suspect was intercepted. This wasn't just a random stop, it was the result of weeks of coordinated surveillance. The Commissioner of Police, Aina Adeshola, has reaffirmed the command's commitment to intelligence-driven policing. While Darlington is behind bars, the hunt continues for his accomplices who remain at large. The Commissioner is urging the public to remain vigilant and continue providing the timely information necessary to keep Delta States safe. Now on to our sister states, Edo State. The host city pride is on full display as Edo State pulls ahead in the ongoing Niger Delta Games. With a surge of gold medals across multiple disciplines, the heartbeat of the nation is beating faster than the competition. The State Sports Commission credits this dominance to a rigorous blueprint of the preparation. It is day 6 of the Niger Delta Games and Edo State is leaving a trail of dust behind its rivals. With 33 gold, 16 silvers and 17 bronze medals, the host sits comfortably at the top with a total haul of 66. While Delta State boasts a higher overall count of 71, they currently trail in the gold department with 21. Bayelsa remains the third spot, securing 19 gold medals so far. The success story of this tournament is undoubtedly the swimming pool where Edo broke a staggering 24-year medal drought. From the 50 meters to the 200 meters sprint, the state's aquatic stars dominated the podium. The momentum carried onto the mat and the ring as Edo wrestlers secured gold in several female categories, while the boxing team decimated opponents to pad the tally further. On the court, the men's singles tennis final was a thriller that ended in Edo gold. Meanwhile, both the male and female volleyball teams have spiked their way into the finals, looking to add even more hardwares to the cabinets. Honorable Desmond Enambulele, chairman of the Edo State Sports Commission, insists this isn't luck, it's the result of long-term investments in athletes' development and steady leadership. As the action continues in Benin City, the host state looks poised to finish as the undisputed champions of the region. Still on Edo State, Mr. Kenneth Akpata, a key political associate, has just recounted a harrowing experience, claiming he and Mr. Peter Obi, the Labour Party's presidential candidate in the last general election, narrowly escaped an attack in Edo State. The incident, which Mr. Akpata describes as an assassination attempt, has sent shockwaves through the political landscapes and raised significant security concerns. According to Mr. Akpata, the alleged attack occurred while he and Mr. Obi were on a visit to the state. He provided a detailed account of how their convoy was ambushed by unknown assailants. He said, and I quote, it was a coordinated effort, Akpata stated in an exclusive interview earlier today. They clearly intended to harm us, specifically targeting Mr. Obi. He described evasive maneuvers taken by their security detail, which ultimately allowed them to escape the dangerous situation. The news has already triggered a wave of reactions from across the political spectrum. Many political leaders have condemned the alleged attack, calling for a thorough and immediate investigation by security agencies. There are growing calls for calm and for all parties to maintain peace as the nation approaches future electoral cycles. The Labour Party has also issued a statement urging the authorities to ensure the safety of all political actors and citizens. This alleged incident undoubtedly adds to the heightened political tensions in the country and underscores ongoing concerns about security, especially for those in public life. Authorities are yet to release an official statement, but we expect more details to emerge as investigations commence. We'll continue to follow this developing story and bring you updates as they become available. For half a century, the dream of a local secondary education for girls in the Gudurega community of Sokoto State remained just that, a dream. After 5 decades of waiting, the community has successfully completed its first ever secondary school dedicated to girls. For years, young women in the area faced a grueling choice: trek several kilometers to distant villages or drop out of the system entirely after primary school. Community leaders say this wasn't just about bricks and mortar, it was about survival and dignity. By bringing the school to their doorstep, the community is directly tackling the high rate of out-of-school children and empowering the next generation of female leaders in the north. The facility is now ready for its first intake of students, marking the end of a long, dusty road to literacy and the beginning of a brighter future for Gudera's daughters. And on another news, humility and a call to service were the themes of the day in Yenagoa as Dr. Peter Akpe was officially sworn in as the new Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State. The position became vacant following the sudden and tragic passing of Senator Lawrence Erujakbo in December 2025. Speaking shortly after his inauguration, Dr. Akpe made a surprising revelation. He did not seek out or lobby for the second highest office in the state. Instead, he described his elevation as a privilege from God and a testament to the trust placed in him by Governor Doye Diri. Governor Diri, while administering the change, noted that the choice of Akpe, his longtime chief of staff, was guided by the need for continuity and competence. The governor urged the people of Bayelsa State to support the new deputy as he transitions from the engine room of the government house to the forefront of the administration's prosperity agenda. With this swearing in, the state's leadership returns to full capacity, ending weeks of political speculation over who will fill the void left by the late Erujakbo. All right, we'll take a quick break. More stories to come when we return. Please stay with us.
Welcome to Dursag Engineering and Services Limited. A trusted name in the oil and gas industry, proudly registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission since the year 2000. We hold several specialized permits with the Department of Petroleum Resources, are accredited with service and product codes by NIPEX, certified by Dun & Bradstreet, and proudly ISO 9001:2015 certified. Our head office is strategically located at 43 Airport Road, Warri, Delta State, Nigeria. At Dursag, our areas of expertise cut across critical sectors, including manpower sourcing and supply, both local and highly trained expatriate personnel. Engineering services across civil, electrical, instrumentation, and mechanical works. Construction and fabrication works. Specialized procurement and supply. Operations and maintenance services. And integrated marine services, delivering supply boats, crew boats, tugboats, barges, houseboats, and speed boats. We are proud partners to some of the industry's leading players, including NNPC and its subsidiaries, Seplat Petroleum, First Hydrocarbon Nigeria Limited, ND Western, Saipem Contracting Nigeria Limited, and Lee Engineering and Construction, among others. Over the years, we have successfully executed manpower, EPC, and marine support projects with a strong record of excellence. At Dursag Engineering, we are committed to quality, safety, and timely delivery, ensuring that every project meets and exceeds expectations. Dursag Engineering and Services Limited, your trusted partner in delivering world-class engineering and energy solutions.
Welcome back. In another news, the Northeast Development Commission, in partnership with the Yobe State Government, has launched a major safety and relief initiative in response to the recent fatal boat mishap in Nguru local government area of the state. Following the tragedy on the Yobe River that claimed 29 lives last month, officials have moved to prevent future occurrences by providing critical survival equipment and aid to riverine communities. The intervention includes the distribution of modern rescue boats and life jackets to the Ngabi and Bombori communities. NEDC State Coordinator Professor Ali Ibrahim Abbas emphasized that the goal is to institutionalize safety, making life jackets mandatory for all passengers. In addition to the hardware, food and relief materials are being distributed to the families of the deceased and the volunteer rescue teams, particularly to support them through the upcoming Ramadan period. The Executive Secretary for YOSEMA, Dr. Muhammad Goje, while receiving the items, issued a stern warning against overloading and night sailing, noting that equipment alone cannot save lives without a change in passenger and operator attitude. The state government has also reaffirmed its policy of banning boat operations after 6 p.m. daily, with security agencies and local vigilantes now empowered to enforce strict compliance across all waterways in the state. Now on to Kwara State. Enough is enough. That is the message from hundreds of youths across Kwara State as they took to the streets to demand an end to the incessant and brutal killings that have plagued the state in recent times.
Until our 176 family has been released from Ghana, and until people they kept in Nipata have been equated and returned our copper, that's when we can stop. Even though it's one person, the people that are killing and they are never no pressure than our own, we are ready to also sacrifice our life for the safety of our colony. We are here, that's what we have to convert.
We don't want romance with
we are coming back tomorrow. We are coming back tomorrow. We are coming back tomorrow until our families 175 million has been released.
Yes.
Until the Penta camp, those who kept
and the government are back there.
We are peaceful people. But Mr. Governor has pushed us to the wall.
Yes.
He has pushed us to the wall. We are calling
those criminals back to Ilorin here, which is the safest place in Kwara State.
Yes. And what matters most is that how will you incubate person from Orago, from other places that are facing
along the line.
That are facing the same problem with us. Kwara North is facing a lot of problems. Facing security is in Kwara North. When we are facing it will allow those who displaced from Kayama to come to us as our brother. The fellow do has an address area. He's supposed to carry the fellow to follow. How will he pass from Muko? Gama is the first person. He should find those people back to fellow. He should bring our Kwara North people. He should bring our people to us. If it is our Kwara North people, we accept them as our brothers. Because
the conspiracy is just too loud. Because how do you raid camps? Then their family members are brought to our own place. Bring them to Ilorin here, which is the safest place in the state. Then return the four members to the NYC camp.
Mr. Governor refused to give us good school, good hospital, good road. Since they refuse to give us then you should give us security.
Yes.
Security of life and property is a sole responsibility
not for
of the government.
How do you secretly evacuate family members of bandits and you go and put them in a place where the community leaders are not even aware, even the emirs are not aware, the local government is not aware, all the elected officials and their appointees they are not aware. The conspiracy is just too loud. You keep on putting our lives at risk. Even the life of the security men is not safe.
And we want to
this is not what we want.
We want to sincerely thank you, the Nigeria Police, the SSS, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense, and other security apparatus for your own expected cooperation. For your own expected cooperation. Do you know why I call it all expected cooperation? We have been attacked. Our people have been attacked severally during the process of airing our grievances to the state government. In fact, I am surprised by the way and manner the security agencies here, the way they welcome us today. May Allah, in His infinity mercy, continue to be with you people. May He continue to protect you, and not only you, but you and your entire family. We really appreciate.
Our last message, we are coming back tomorrow. Officials say, tell Mr. Governor that what he did that returned the Eruku people, abracadabra, he should do the same in Kayama Oro community. To return our 176 families to us. He used how many days to return those people? How Kwara North one is different? The Kwara North one is even higher. Some people lost their own family. Why are they not putting us?
About 400 people were killed.
Why are they not putting us? The same thing happened in
just too loud.
the same thing
Every life matters.
Governor have never even issued a press statement to even greet or condole with us.
He even refused.
And we are coming tomorrow. We are coming, yes.
He refused to allow Shetima to
We are coming back tomorrow. We continue to be sleeping and not to bury your house here. Till our voice has been heard. Till Mr. Governor come and address. If Mr. Governor refuses to address this, we continue coming here. 130 family must be released. That camp, those that are there must be put.
We do not want IDP in our community.
You must return the compass there immediately. If you don't do that, you should be prepared.
All we are saying, no IDP camp in Edu. All we
The protests, which paralyzed major sections of the Ilorin-Omu-Arankaba highway, followed the horrific massacre in the Kayama area earlier in February, where over 160 residents were killed for allegedly resisting forced indoctrination by extremist cells. The demonstrating youths, carrying placards with inscriptions like "Save Kwara North" and "Security is a human right," are calling for more than just checkpoints. They are demanding a permanent military presence in the Kainji Forest Axis, a known staging ground for the terrorists. In a swift response to the escalating tension, Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazik and the Chief of Defense Staff has officially flagged off Operation Savannah Shield. This multi-agency offensive, headquartered at Sobi Barracks, has already begun sweeping through identified flashpoints in Kwara North and parts of neighboring Niger states. While the governor has described the operations as a big relief for the state's famine belt, the protesting youths say they will remain vigilant until the abducted victims are returned to the Operation Savannah and the Operation Savannah yields tangible results on the ground. And on to Nigeria's business news. Nigeria's power sector is at a crossroads as calls mount for the total removal of electricity subsidies. Just weeks after the federal government announced that states must now share the 3.6 trillion naira subsidy burden, the head of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company is pushing for an even bolder move, which is the complete elimination of price caps for all consumers. The push for a fully cost-reflective tariff aims to solve the sector's chronic liquidity squeeze. Currently, gas procurement alone consumes nearly 60% of operational costs for power plants. Yet, low tariffs mean most companies cannot break even. Under the proposed 2026 budget framework, the federal government plans to shift from broad subsidies to a Power Assistance Consumers Fund, PACF. This would move away from lowering bills for everyone and instead provide targeted cash transfers or credits only to the most vulnerable households. Proponents argue this will free up trillions for infrastructure, while critics warn it will further strain small businesses already struggling with high operational costs. The Senate Committee on Appropriations has echoed these calls, labeling the current subsidy regime a drain on public finance that must be plugged to fund the 2026 budget of consolidation. And on to international news, a historic opportunity or a countdown to conflict. Those are the stakes today in Geneva as the third round of indirect nuclear talks between the United States and Iran officially gets underway. Against the backdrop of a massive U.S. military buildup in the Middle East, the largest since the 2003 Iraq invasion, Iranian negotiators have arrived with a promise of unprecedented flexibility. Tehran is reportedly offering to dilute half of its 60% enriched uranium stockpile in a last-ditch effort to avert threatened U.S. military strikes. The pressure on Tehran is immense. President Donald Trump, in his State of the Union address earlier this week, reiterated a firm March 1st deadline for a deal, warning that negative consequences will follow if diplomacy fails. Mediated by Oman, the talks see White House envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner sitting across from Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi. While Iran is offering concessions on uranium enrichment in exchange for immediate sanction reliefs, a major sticking point remains the U.S. is demanding a verifiable end to Iran's ballistic missile program, a red line Tehran has so far refused to cross. With only days remaining until the president's deadline, the presence of IAEA Chief Rafael Grosny in Geneva, suggests that technical verification for a potential fast deal is already being drafted. While the diplomatic language remains tense, the arrival of a second U.S. aircraft carrier in the region underscores the military option that remains very much on the table. Still on international news, the human cost of global displacement has reached a devastating new milestone. According to the United Nations Migration Agency, 2025 was one of the deadliest years on record for those seeking safety and opportunity across international borders. While the official data is staggering, officials warn that the numbers we see are only a fraction of the true tragedy occurring in the shadows of global migration routes. The International Organization for Migration reports that at least 7,941 people perished while in transit last year. The Central Mediterranean remains the world's most perilous corridor, accounting for nearly 40% of all recorded deaths. However, the IOM is sounding a loud alarm over invisible shipwrecks, incidents where entire vessels disappear without a single survivor to tell the tale. From the harsh Sahara Desert to the dense Darien Gap, the agency emphasizes that for every body recovered, countless others are lost to unmonitored wilderness or the deep sea, meaning the actual death toll is undoubtedly far higher than the 8,000 officially documented. The UN is now calling for a fundamental shift toward safe and legal pathways, arguing that increased border militarization is only pushing desperate families into the hands of smugglers and more dangerous terrain. And on to sports. Galatasaray arrived in Turin with a massive 3-goal cushion, but they nearly left with nothing as a 10-man Juventus staged a comeback for the ages. Just as the Turkish side heard on the brink of an embarrassing collapse, one man stepped up to silence the Allianz Stadium. Juventus were relentless, despite Lloyd Kelly seeing red early in the second half. Goals from Locatelli, Gatti, and a 10-man equalizer from Weston McKennie forced the tie into extra time. The momentum was entirely with the Italians until the 105th minute. That's when Victor Osimhen struck, latching onto a Barry Alpa Yilmaz pass. The Nigerian superstar slotted the ball through Matia Peri's legs to restore the lead. Interestingly, Osimhen refused to celebrate, fueling rumors of a future move to the Old Lady, but his clinical finish broke Juve's hearts. UMOS added a late goal to make it 3-2 on the 9th and 7-5 on aggregates. With that goal, Osimhen becomes Galatasaray's all-time leading foreign scorer in the Champions League, a historic 9th for the player and a massive sigh of relief for the fans in Istanbul. And still on football, the Football Association of Ireland says its hands are tied despite intense public pressure and calls for a boycott. The FAI chief has declared that Ireland has no choice but to fulfill its upcoming fixtures against Israel. At the heart of the matter is a stark ultimatum from UEFA: play the matches or face a total ban from the international football, including the Euro 2028 tournament, which Ireland is set to co-host. FAI interim CEO David Correll confirmed this morning that the association has sought legal and diplomatic counsel, but the governing bodies remain firm. Refusing to take the pitch would trigger catastrophic sanctions, potentially bankrupting the association through massive fines and the loss for hosting rights. While FAI acknowledges the profound concerns of fans and human rights groups, they maintain that a boycott would achieve little beyond destroying the future of its Irish national team. Protesters have already gathered at the FAI headquarters in Abbottstown, arguing that some principles are more important than a tournament sport. The Irish government has so far declined to issue a formal directive to the FAI, leaving the association to navigate this high-stakes standoff between sporting regulations and political sentiments. And that wraps up this edition of TVM's Metro Updates. For more updates throughout the day, follow us on all our digital platforms and stay tuned to TVM for trusted news and in-depth coverage. I am Mara Samuels. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Dursag Engineering and Services Limited,
a trusted name in the oil and gas industry, proudly registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission since the year 2000. We hold several specialized permits with the Department of Petroleum Resources, are accredited with service and product codes by NYPEX, certified by Dun & Bradstreet, and proudly ISO 9001:2015 certified. Our head office is strategically located at 43 Airport Road, Warri, Delta State, Nigeria. Our sourcing and supply, both local and highly trained expatriate personnel. Engineering services across civil, electrical, instrumentation, and mechanical works. Construction and fabrication works. Specialized procurement and supply. Operations and maintenance services. And integrated marine services, delivering supply boats, crew boats, tugboats, barges, houseboats, and speed boats. We are proud partners to some of the industry's leading players, including NNPC and its subsidiaries, Seplat Petroleum, First Hydrocarbon Nigeria Limited, MD Western, Saipem Contracting Nigeria Limited, and Lee Engineering and Construction, among others. Over the years, we have successfully executed manpower, EPC, and marine support projects with a strong record of excellence. At DERSAG Engineering, we are committed to quality, safety, and timely delivery, ensuring that every project meets and exceeds expectations. DESAG Engineering and Services Limited, your trusted partner in delivering world-class engineering and energy solutions.
Coming up on TPI. So how do I say welcome in Francais?
Bienvenue.
Bienvenue?
Yes. Bienvenue.
Bienvenue.
Yes.
Dena, bienvenue. Allez.
You said it right.
Well, hello and welcome to TPI. I'm your host, Muyiwa, and I'm so glad you're joining me. Each week on TPI, we shine a light on people who are making a difference, not just in their communities, but in the lives of people around them. Our first story is a powerful testament to that truth, a moving reminder that healing doesn't always begin in a hospital or a church pew. Sometimes it starts on a dusty field with a bat, a glove, and a prayer. Take a look.
In Colorado Springs, a unique softball team is stepping up to the plate, not just to win games, but to transform lives.
I'm over 9 years sober at this point, and without any of this, none of that's possible. You know, I give all the glory to God.
The connections that we build with people, especially for folks who are trying to figure out what their life looks like after addiction, I think is really important, because when you shift into a healthier lifestyle, you have to rebuild everything, not just yourself.
Meet Recovery Rebels. Founded in 2020 by Rob Decker, personal trainer and addiction recovery coach.
I want to see people change their identity and what they attach themselves to. That's the goal, meeting people where they're at and bringing the light of Christ to them so that they can start to change their identity.
Rob is also a baseball enthusiast who had his own battle with addiction. It started when he was 14 and lasted 20 years.
Baseball for me was my first love. I played up into high school, but the problem was I got to a place as a teenager into drugs and alcohol that there was no way I was getting good grades. And my parents weren't home, they were divorced, like there was complete chaos in my house. You know, baseball was a pipe dream at that point, because at this point it was just survival. That's what it was for me, and just trying to get by and numb myself.
Once, he even tried to end his life by diving out a third-story window.
So I clipped an awning. The awning changed my fall a bit, and I ended up hitting concrete, severing my L2, my spine, broke both my arms, and collapsed my lung.
Even then, Rob would hang on to his addictions another 4.5 years, until the day he surrendered his life to God at the age of 34.
Well, there was a lot of brokenness that was inside of me that I wasn't handing over to the Lord. I saw how he was patient and loving with me. He gave me the clarity and the strength to walk through all of it, you know, knowing that he was always there for me. And I had to stop throwing my life away.
Years later, Rob found his way back to the Diamond playing recreational softball, where he met guys working through similar things he did.
I had some friends here in Colorado Springs that were struggling with drug, alcohol addiction, post-traumatic stress disorder. They were internalizing a lot of things. I developed some deep, intimate relationships with them, and they were both ex-baseball players.
It was then Rob found a way to turn his pain into a purpose. He formed Recovery Rebels, a softball team that would help others find healing and ultimately a relationship with Jesus.
The end game is to heal, right? And so we have to create those safe spaces where people can start trusting again. People struggle, they have trauma, they have brokenness, and they're running to substances and alcohol. And so, you know, we want to change the conversation, we want to change the narrative, but also too, I come from a camp of, you know, who the Son sets free is free indeed.
The response? Overwhelming.
The only reason why we're here and breathing and able to play this game is because of Jesus. So we praise Jesus, and thankfully we're still here doing it and alive. A lot of us shouldn't be alive at this point.
I think that the military team is such a good outlet for guys that are maybe dealing with some issues, like mental health issues. This is a brotherhood that we can all be there for each other and recover from any mental health struggle that they might be dealing with.
For Rob, this is about shining a light in the darkness, showing the broken that they're not alone. It's a mission he feels Christ called him to.
Love comes from human connection. That's how the Lord created us, was for us to connect with each other, to love each other, to support each other, to lift each other up, to encourage each other.
The players and coaches aren't the only ones being affected. After every game, both teams meet at the pitcher's mound for prayer, which opens the door to deeper conversations.
You have that guy saying, hey man, I do think I have a problem with this, or I'm struggling with this, and we're like, hey, here's some resources. We have tons of resources with Rob and Derek, and all those guys just have so much to, you know, to offer somebody to give them a place to go.
We're wired to have human connection, and so it's important to have like minds around you. You know, if you fall down, like, there's less judgment from people who've been through similar things. It's easier to get help, seek help, and also you got all these like bodies around you to help you.
To the folks in Colorado Springs, Recovery Rebels are more than a softball team. They're a family, a lifeline, and a testament to the power of faith, community, and second chances. They're rewriting the playbook for recovery, one game, one prayer, one life at a time.
And I just want to shine the light on those that are struggling with their mental health and their spiritual well-being, right? I just want people to see hope, and at the end of the day, it all points to Jesus, because he is our hope.
It's amazing how God can take one man's trials and transform them into a testimony that's now touching countless lives. Never underestimate what God has in your hands, because he can use it as a key to someone else's breakthrough. Stay with us, because after the break, a man's life hangs by a thread. Doctors lose hope. His family prepares for the worst. You don't want to miss how his story unfolds.
From the EKG, we knew that this is going to be like something serious. The patient actually had no pulse. He wasn't breathing, and there was no heart rate.
Your Turning Point experience doesn't have to end when the program is over. Follow us on your favorite social media. next story suffered a sudden medical crisis. By all accounts, he was gone. No heartbeat, no breath, no sign of life. But just when all hope seemed lost, something extraordinary happened. Take a look.
I remember hearing David get up to go to the restroom. And then I heard him seconds later yell out my name twice, Melissa, Melissa.
Melissa Fair had good reason to be concerned about her husband, David. He'd had a heart attack before.
I jumped out of bed, I went to the restroom, and he says, "Call 911, I'm having chest pain." I was very scared.
David was taken to Resolute Baptist Medical Center in New Braunfels, Texas. His cardiologist, Dr. Jaweed Saeed, was called into the ER.
From the EKG, we knew that this is going to be like something serious. The patient actually had no pulse. He wasn't breathing, and there was no blood pressure, and there was no heart rate.
Despite the staff's best attempts, David was still unresponsive.
I said, "What all have you done?" And when she says, "We gave him 7 rounds of epi," at that point, I thought, he's not coming back. I asked the doctor, "When do you call the code?" Because I was ready to call it. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to pray. I don't even know. God, your will be done.
Melissa faced the reality of her hopes of a peaceful retirement with her husband deteriorating.
This was going to be a good time for us. We were going to spend our great years here. This was going to be a great life for us. So I just felt like I just saw that all that just go down. Like, what now? Like, what's going to happen now?
After half an hour, doctors decided to give David his 8th and final shot of epinephrine. It was a rare move, but it worked.
My husband comes back fighting, kicking, screaming. And I'm thinking, oh my God. But at that point, I'm not even thinking, oh, you saved his life. I'm thinking, what's life going to be after this?
That's because by then, David's brain had been without oxygen for 34 minutes. So although doctors could now put a stent in the blocked artery, David might never be the same man.
The brain doesn't get continuous blood flow and oxygen within few minutes. But we still didn't know about his brain, whether he will have lived a normal life or whether he would be like what we call as a vegetative state, not knowing himself or his family and stuff like that.
In an unexpected turn of events, David woke up the next morning with no major cognitive impairment.
He knew who he was married, and then he was getting his appetite back, was wanting to eat more. He had his heart attack on a Sunday, and by Thursday he was already being released home. That itself was a miracle, to be home so fast. That hit me at that moment. There truly is nothing impossible with God. So it leveled me up to say, wow, God is really all that.
I was kind of confused, glad to be alive. I was listening to Dr. Saeed. He was like, man, you're a miracle. You should have been gone. You shouldn't even be here.
Since his release 5 days later, David has had no major issues with his heart, and he's regained all of his cognitive abilities. Although Melissa does assist him with some physical tasks, they both continue to celebrate the miracle God gave them.
Since then, things have gotten a lot better because we have a different outlook in life. My faith has changed tremendously because I know nothing is impossible with God. We'll never imagine that David would survive that heart attack and live the life he's living now. That was only God doing it. Nobody else could have done that but God.
I got home and was able to sit around and do a lot of thinking and soul searching. I believe that he could have chosen anyone else. And I believe that he's doing miracles around the world. He is choosing people, but at that time he chose me.
Very rarely we have patients that do so good and survive such a amazing cardiac arrest and not only survive but come out with all their organs, including their brain, their lungs, and their kidneys functioning, not requiring dialysis, not being a vegetative state, not having a stroke. It's extremely rare.
You know, one of the questions that I asked God was, why me? That's when it really started hitting me. You are here for a purpose. It's like God was still speaking to me. You know, listen, son, I brought you back for a reason. You are to spread my message to anybody and everybody that wants to hear it. If I don't do anything else left on this earth, it's to convey his message to people, to let them understand that he is real.
I love what David said. Let people know Jesus is real. Friends, that's exactly why TPI exists, to testify of the goodness and power of God. Every single story we share is a reminder that Jesus is alive and active and still transforming lives today. But you know what Jesus desires the most? It's a relationship with you. John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." And with that relationship comes everything your heart longs for: healing, peace, joy, wisdom, and the list goes on. Whatever you need is found in the person of Jesus. The best part, it all begins with a single, simple prayer. Would you pray with me? I'll say these words and you can say them after me. They're real simple. Here we go. Lord Jesus, I confess that you are the Son of God. I acknowledge that I am a sinner. I acknowledge that only you can give me a brand new start. I thank you for dying on the cross for me. I thank you for rising from the grave for me. I thank you that you are coming back one day for me. Give me a brand new start. Wash away my sins. Jesus, I accept you as my Lord and my Savior. This is my prayer. Amen. If you just prayed with me and want to learn more about what it means to have a personal relationship with Jesus, or if you need someone to pray with you, we're here. Send us a message on WhatsApp and someone from our team will connect with you. And for our viewers in the United States and Europe, you can call us directly using the number on your screen. Faith is best lived with others. Would love to walk this journey with you. Get ready to be inspired now, because after the break, internationally acclaimed singer and worship leader Dana Mwana joins me, and I promise you don't want to miss our conversation. Welcome back. Dana Mwana is known for her hits like Souffle, Jamais Sans Louis, and her recent collaborations with artists like Limo Blaze and Ada Ehi. Her journey has been one of passion, purpose, and praise. She's not just a singer, but a spiritual force. And I'm so thrilled she's joined us here. Dana, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
So how do I say welcome in français?
Bienvenue.
Bienvenue.
Yes. Bienvenue.
Bienvenue.
Yes.
Dana, bienvenue. Allez.
You said it right.
So, you know, it's been such a joy tracking what you're doing. I was telling some of the execs off air that you're one of the few French artists who I know who fill stadiums way before some artists we might know. But you just keep it all very low-key and quiet. What informs how you do ministry and the choice of collaborations you do? Because some people might see you as being quite conservative. What informs all that?
You know, I would like to say that, first of all, I work with my husband. And he's behind a lot of things that people see. I wanted to say we are a big team, but we are not that big. He do most of the things that people will see. Before starting ministry, we were just a family. So for us, family is so important that we want to keep it low to protect our family, to protect our kids and everybody else we have around. So we have that team. My husband is the producer and also managing a lot of things. And so it's like, it makes it a little bit easier because, as I say, we started just as a family. And then I found myself into ministry.
Sometimes I know you come in for criticism online because of some of the positions you might hold, which some think is conservative. How do you, one, protect yourself from that, and then how do you protect the children from that? Because our children are digital first. Some of these platforms, even if they don't have them, their friends have them.
That's true.
And then their friends know that you're a superstar. So, how do you protect them from some of the negative things that people might say sometimes? Because it's just sometimes, not all the time.
That's true. So I'll say 2018, the Lord spoke to me and he told me that I'm going to be receiving a lot of attacks. So he asked me to pray for my heart. So I believe this was one of the ways that I got prepared, for like anything that I'll see online that will hurt my heart. So I'll just protect it. Today, I'll read them, I'll laugh about it, and then I'll just pass. So this is on my side. On our kid, as I said in the beginning, we started as a family. So entering into the ministry, we had them prepare, talking to them. Like, you guys can be online and stuff. You just have to keep our privacy. We want to keep it. We want to stay as a family, strong as a family. We don't want people, just disturbing the way we are. This is one way. The other way is, it's sad, but I do my best to now really show up like in school, so that the friend will see exactly who I am, or I'll just put it very low. I'll wear something that won't allow people to know who I am. Because I want to keep that privacy. So we do as much as we can, and we have kids who really understand. That's the beautiful part about it. They do understand. I don't know how, because they're just kids. Well, adults now. But we had them understanding that's mom's work, that's dad's work, but we want them, we want to have our privacy as family.
So I mean, I wish we had an hour to just talk. There's so much to talk about and catch up on. You've worked with some of the names I mentioned who are dear people to me. Ada Ehi and her husband, and Limo Blaze, one of my babies. And you think, how can he be a baby? Such a big man.
It's a big
but I guess I'm getting old. What collaborations have you not done yet that you dearly want to, and why haven't you done it yet?
Oh gosh, I've been praying about it, and I wish. That would be CeCe Winans.
How did I know you were going to say CeCe?
Maybe because she's conservative. Like, I like her spirit. I like who she is. I like what she's like. When you look at her, she breathes. You feel the breath of God, and it's like, well, yeah, it's CeCe Winans. I'm praying for that one.
Interesting. I had this conversation with CeCe Winans recently, and we were talking about the possibility of coming to the UK, and she looked at the date, she says, I need to be with my family at that time. So I said to her, well, the pastor may not be happy, but you know what? Be with your family. So and with the conversations I've always had with her, family also seemed to be at the core of her everything. So CeCe Winans is one. But why haven't you worked with CeCe so far?
Well, I'm looking forward, like I'm from the French speaker side. Like I'm from Congo. We speak French. That is true, that I've been in America, like going and coming, like, settle with the family not long ago, like really when I say settle. So it's like we're working on the English part now. That's why we started collaboration. Of course, the Lord allows it, with Ada Ehi, with Limo Blaze, with Called Out Music, and some more artists. But, well, we're working on that English part, side of our ministry. So, but CeCe Winans has been in my mind since I started my ministry. So I'm just praying that the Lord will allow it, of course. if he allows it, then that will be a dream come true.
So you have millions of followers. You probably have over 3 million people following you online. You're on your way from here to a country where they're having their Independence Day, and you are the choice artist to celebrate. What does Dana consider to be success?
Oh gosh, that's a big question. I'm gonna try to respond on that one. What can I say? Success will be for me if I'm able to do exactly what I was called for. Means that touching people's hearts, turning people toward God, just taking people from some way and then bringing them, straight to God, and being able to accomplish every mission that the Lord has set on me to do. So it will be pleasing the Lord's heart.
Pleasing the Lord's heart.
Yes.
Dana, thank you so much for joining us. So I want to say thank you, my sister. See you again soon. Is that a lot to say in French?
Merci, ma sœur.
Merci, ma sœur.
On se voit très bientôt.
On se voit très bientôt.
Oui.
Merci, ma sœur. On se voit très bientôt.
You said it right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, while Dana is setting up, I want to take a moment to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can catch new episodes every Wednesday and rewatch your favorite segments and interviews anytime. And don't forget, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and yes, we're on TikTok. No matter your favorite platform, we'll love for you to connect with us and other viewers from around the world. We always love hearing from you. Well, we've come to the end of the program, but we're closing in the best way possible with worship. Prepare your hearts as Dana Wana leads us in her powerful and moving song, Holy Spirit. Until next time, goodbye and God bless you.
Holy Spirit, come and breathe. Hallelujah. Holy Spirit, we need you right now, right here. Quand il descend, oui, tout s'arrête. Il y a transfert entre ciel et terre. Quand il descend, l'atmosphère change. Il y a transfert entre ciel. Quand il descend, oui, tout s'arrête. Il y a transfert entre ciel et terre. Quand il descend, l'atmosphère change. Il y a transfert entre ciel et terre. Le Saint-Esprit est là. Le Saint-Esprit est là. Le Saint-Esprit est là. Il est là pour changer. Il est là pour guérir. Il est là, nous proclamons. Et voilà ce qui arrive. Alléluia. Les paralytiques sautent de joie, les stériles enfantent, les sourds entendent par sa puissance. Les maladies, alléluia, commandent les paralytiques, les stériles enfantent et les sourds entendent par sa puissance. Quelqu'un qui croit le déclare ce soir. Il est là pour guérir. Alléluia. Nous croyons, nous recevons. Quelqu'un lui dit par sa puissance. Par sa puissance, il guérit les malades. Par sa puissance, il renouvelle. Par sa puissance, il agit en ce moment. Par sa puissance, alléluia. Il transforme une situation en ce moment. Par sa puissance, il guérit une maladie incurable. Par sa puissance, il renouvelle ce qui est brisé. Par sa puissance,
This is TVM. TVM delivers breaking stories, global headlines, and the moments that matter. From exciting sports action to exclusive local events, we keep you connected. Celebrate our culture, people, and voices with powerful documentaries and inspiring stories. Experience premium entertainment, from trending music to urban lifestyle and beyond. Grow your spirit with life-changing messages and uplifting perspectives. Lead the way with bold conversations, fresh ideas, and thought-provoking shows. Wherever you are, whenever you want, watch TVM on all your devices. TVM, your world, your network. This is
Hello, welcome to another exciting episode of TVM Express. Today, I am Mara Samuels and I have an amazing guest in the studio, Mr. Frederick. Hello, Mr. Frederick.
Hello, Ms. Mara.
How are you?
Nice to be here.
All right, thank you for joining me, and thank you, our amazing viewers, for joining us on today's episode of TVM Express. TVM Express is a relaxing breakfast show where we talk about the happenings in Nigeria and any breaking and upcoming news. All right, so in the news, we have the appointment of Tunji Disu, the current acting IGP of Nigeria. Tunji Disu, formerly an Assistant Inspector General of Police, was decorated by the President on February 25th. His appointment is notable for its timing. Now, Disu was actually just 48 days away from his mandatory retirement when he was appointed. Under the recently amended Police Act, his elevation to IGP effectively overrides his immediate retirement. He is now expected to serve a 4-year tenure, potentially keeping him in office until 2030, unless he is removed by the President. Now, following tradition, his appointment is expected to lead to the voluntary or forced retirement of several senior officials. including DIG Frank Mba and 7 other DIG who were senior to him in rank or years of service. Mr. Fred, I'm going to come to you now. What's your take on the resignation of the former IG of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, and now the reinstallation of this new acting IG of Police, Tunji Disu? What's your take on that?
Thank you very much for that question.
Yeah.
First and foremost, it's only in Nigeria you will retire a senior public officer without any reason. They just retire for no reason after meeting, sometimes after coerced to retire. So it has been.
But do you think he was retired for no reason? Because I think it's stated in the report and news that he retired for family considerations.
For family considerations. Well, if that's what he put out there, it's fine. But
for you don't agree to that. You don't think there's something
something playing at the background, because issues like this, it doesn't just come like shocking news. You hear proceedings before now, like I'm going to retire. If he voluntarily retired, he should have been saying this for a while before he will eventually just say, okay, I'm
just came up from nowhere and said she's going to retire.
It's kind of sketchy to me. I don't know. This is not a fact, but with my own study, I think it's sketchy.
Okay, all right. Let's look at Egbetokun's exit. Egbetokun's exit on February 24th ended a tenure defined by a long-standing tenure extension dispute. The presidency stated he resigned for pressing family considerations, like we discussed. Egbetokun reached the mandatory retirement age of 60 in September 2024. However, he remained in office because the National Assembly fast-tracked an amendment to the Police Act 2024 just weeks before his birthday. This amendment allowed the IGP to complete a full 4-year term regardless of his age. Critics and activists like Omoyele Sowore argued this was a tailor-made law for Egbetokun, leading to multiple court challenges and public protests over the legality versus legitimacy of his stay. So now there's even been some uproar about his stay so far.
When I saw that yesterday, I was like, okay. When it was time for him to retire, people clamored for him to retire.
Yeah,
there was an amendment process to keep him in office, and now from nowhere he's asked to retire.
So do you think him, though he was supposed to retire as of September 2024 when he clocked 60, so now for the National Assembly to come out and make a law, an amendment to the Police Act, do you think it's a deliberate act to keep him in office, or it's just coincidence?
Well, the facts are not there.
Yeah,
it's, these days happenings around the country always have this reason. I want to say it's political reason. To the laws they make. There are personal affiliated reasons to the laws they make, and that's why Nigerians are still not buying this. Even if it comes out today to say I decide to retire by myself because of LDs, because I needed to take care of my family. You needed to take care of your family. Well,
now let's even look at this summary now. Kayode Egbetokun, who's the outgoing IG of Police, he resigned on February 24th, 2026, and then Tunji Disu, who's now the acting or incoming IG of Police, he was appointed that same February 24th, 2026. Now, Kayode Egbetokun stayed in office past his 60th birthday via the 2024 amendment of bill, and then now Tunji Disu was appointed 48 days before his 60th birthday, and you know that they're supposed to serve a 4-year tenure. So, are you saying, so that means that Tunji Disu is going to stay 4 years past his 60th birthday? That's what it means.
Yes.
So, what now happens to the law that when, as a public servant, when you're at 60, you should?
I think with this case, it didn't. It's not the law that forced him out. You see the strategy behind it.
Yeah.
He
so that's
retired
some amendment for some
willingly.
certain persons. Is that what you're saying?
So they can't say because of the he would have been able to stay because of the amendment.
Yeah.
So the law would have been able to force him out at this point because there is an amendment that will keep him in office. But the amendment does not stop you from retiring.
Yeah.
So I think that's the strategy they use, because if they had wanted him gone, they would have just fired him. But the amendment would have just been there to say, no, you cannot do this.
Okay. All right, that's it for the Inspector General of Police, and both the outgoing and the incoming Inspector General of Police. Let's go back to Edo State. It's no news that Peter Obi was in Edo State on February 4th, and for the formal reception of Olumide Akpata, who was the 2023 Labour Party governorship candidate into the African Democratic Congress, ADC. Now, the visit gained significant attention due to a violent incident and the following details. I'm going to state that now. So, the event was that Peter Obi joined top ADC figures, including the former APC chairman, Chief John Odige Oyegun, at the ADC Secretariat in Benin City to welcome Akpata to the party. Now, after the event, as the convoy arrived at Chief Odige Oyegun's residence, it was targeted by armed hoodlums. The attackers reportedly trailed the convoy and opened fire, shattering the windscreen of several vehicles and riddling the residence gate with bullets. Unfortunately, Peter Obi and the other leaders escaped unharmed. Now, let us look at this incident that happened in Edo State, and I understand that you're from Edo State, so this happened in your territory, so to speak. So what do you have to say about this happening?
There are no real confirmations out there of what really happened according to police press. But with the rumors flying about an assassination attempt and about a kind of a political situation of the opposition trying to quash the uprising of another party in Edo State. I think, personally, with the few facts and a few informations, I think it's out there from the threats that was made by the governor around June last year, around I think July last year.
Yeah, July 2025.
From what I saw.
Yeah, so I was actually going there, but let me let you finish.
And what I saw on the internet yesterday, made by one Port called I think I forgot the name, his name, but Hussein Rufai of Arise TV posted that thing yesterday and said, if investigation is not carried out on this guy, then there is a problem. He publicly tweeted something on online that said something like, they don't want you, make they come this state again. Next is Port Harcourt, boys on guard, something like that. Just a public threat, like,
okay,
since you survived this one, you will not survive this one.
The next will be
so and then the press release the governor gave, it was like the ADC have started again. So he made mention of, after Peter Obi left Edo State last year, 3 people died. Although the families of those 3 persons never came out to say we lost
anyone.
We lost anybody. We didn't really get after that an announcement. That matter died. So we didn't really know if it was true or if it was false or if it was just a calculated attempt to soil Peter Obi's name, because he said if he wants to visit Edo State again, he must tell him. I don't. That's an infringement.
Let's even marry both situations now. So as of July 2025, there was a threat by the sitting governor of Edo State saying that the 2023 presidential candidate for Labour Party at the time should not come to Edo State, his state, because he cannot guarantee his safety. And then now this is happening. So is that something that's happening that we cannot just confirm just yet?
It's just an opinion. Logic minds will kind of pinpoint this situation.
You should be able to link
because it seems, it looks like a situation of I told you this.
I told you so. Yeah, I warned you.
Yeah, I warned you. It was going to happen like this. It's kind of pointing more fingers at it. It's not like the governor said it's an internal crisis. I don't think that's an internal crisis. I think that's a premeditated attempt to either scare or murder. So assassinate, although
that's a huge fact right there.
Because when you shoot at a vehicle, when you release the trigger, the main purpose of the bullet is to kill, whether a human being or
an object
or anything your target is. So I think the situation is either to scare, if it's from the opposition, which we still don't know, we are still waiting for the release by the State Police Command.
Okay, before the State Police Command will even release a statement or anything, the governor of Edo State has come out to describe the allegations that his administration masterminded the attack as false, malicious, and a distortion of facts. He stated that no directive was ever issued to any state agency or individual to target Peter Obi or any member of the ADC. Okpebholo categorized the violence as an internal party crisis taken too far. He specifically pointed to a leadership tussle within the Edo State branch of the ADC, suggesting that viral factions, specifically mentioning a group led by former Senator Roland Owe, were at odds with those hosting Peter Obi. So now, before the state police will come out to release a statement, I beg your pardon, the governor of the state, Monday Okpebholo, has come out to say the allegations leveled against his administration or his government is false, and it's just mere rumors and all lies. So the governor has come out to say that he's basically coming out to say that maybe the threat that he made to him at 2025 is not linked to this happening.
He made a threat like he was trying to protect his life.
Yeah.
I don't know if he didn't put the words right, but he kept even Falana asked him to withdraw the statement, but I don't think he did.
I don't think he did that.
I think, well, he has. I think he's the commander-in-chief,
of course,
of the state. He should have first-hand information of what really transpired. So I think he has.
There's even been an accusation of importing thugs and miscreants. Now the governor has accused the opposition of importing thugs and miscreants from outside the state under the guise of political activity. He claimed that violence was self-inflicted by the party to create a negative impression of Edo State security. The governor stood by his previous controversial statements from July 2025, reiterating that high-profile political figures are expected to notify the state authorities before major public engagements. This is for adequate security coordination and not due to political hostility. He claimed that Peter Obi's presence is often synonymous with violence, citing the previous incident in 2025 where he alleged lives were lost following Obi's visits.
According to Kenneth Okonkwo yesterday, he said that that meeting checked all the protocols before it was held. So I don't know.
So how come the chief of the chief of defense staff of the states is come now to say that he wasn't informed that such public person is coming to the state?
I still don't know why that break, let me just call it break in communication happened, because according to the spokesperson of the newly merged ADC, he said that all protocols were observed. So
all protocols duly observed, but the governor said from his speech that all protocols were not observed, as it were. Now, the summary of the whole conflict is that the attack was a state-sponsored, from the ADC view, right? From the ADC view, the summary of the conflict from the ADC view is that the attack, according to the spokesperson, said it was a state-sponsored assassination attempt fueled by the governor's previous threats. And now the governor is coming out to say that the attack was an internal ADC fight used as political blackmail to discredit his administration. All right, we'll go on a really quick break now. When we come back, we will talk more on the dailies of today, and we'll talk more on things happening in Nigeria. Stay with us.
Welcome to Dursag Engineering and Services Limited, a trusted name in the oil and gas industry, proudly registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission since the year 2000. We hold several specialized permits with the Department of Petroleum Resources, are accredited with service and product codes by NIPEX, certified by Dun & Bradstreet, and proudly ISO 9001:2015 certified. Our head office is strategically located at 43 Airport Road, Warri, Delta State, Nigeria. At Dursag, our areas of expertise cut across critical sectors, including manpower sourcing and supply, both local and highly trained expatriate personnel. Engineering services across civil, electrical, instrumentation, and mechanical works. Construction and fabrication works. Specialized procurement and supply. Operations and maintenance services. And integrated marine services, delivering supply boats, crew boats, tugboats, barges, houseboats, and speed boats. We are proud partners to some of the industry's leading players, including NNPC and its subsidiaries, Seplat Petroleum, First Hydrocarbon Nigeria Limited, ND Western, Saipem Contracting Nigeria Limited, and Lee Engineering and Construction, among others. Over the years, we have successfully executed manpower, EPC, and marine support projects with a strong record of excellence. At Dursag Engineering, we are committed to quality, safety, and timely delivery, ensuring that every project meets and exceeds expectations. Dursag Engineering and Services Limited, your trusted partner in delivering world-class engineering and energy solutions. Welcome.
All right, welcome back. Before we went on that break, we spoke about the accident that happened in Edo State between Peter Obi and the ADC and some hoodlums that attacked him. Thank God he left unhurt. And we also try to marry it, and we try to see if, if the threats that the governor made to Peter Obi in the year 2025, July 2025, last year, and this thugs attacking him, if there's a link, if there's a correlation. And if for those of us that do not know this speech, they were talking about the threats made by Edo State Governor to Peter Obi. The video is going to come up now, so we refresh your memory.
A direct message to him. There is a new sheriff in town. He cannot come to Edo without telling me, because his security will never be guaranteed. Whatever happens to him when he's in Edo State, he will take it. I am serious about it. He came the other day and donated 15 million. Somebody was saying, no, guys, she will get 15 million to donate to people. By the time he left, there was crisis. 3 people died in Benin. So for that reason, tell Obi he should not come to Edo without telling me. Nothing with the grace, with the blood.
All right, so I am sure that you've seen the video of the threat that the Edo State Governor made to Peter Obi at the time year 2025, and now there's been an attack on Peter Obi when he came to Edo State for the formal welcoming of their new ADC member from Edo State. Now we literally just spoke about it, and to see if there's any correlation. So we hope that we don't entertain violence on this show. In this show, we don't entertain violence. So we just hope that everybody is civil, and we just pray that there's no loss of lives and property. All right, let's go on to our newspaper headlines for today. Looking at me here, I have Daily Sun, dailies. New IGP talks tough. He takes oath of office, says no more impunity in place. Tinubu charges top cop to restore discipline, combat banditry and terrorism. That can be found in page 6 of the Daily Sun. So to read more about this new IG's speech, you can get that on page 6 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Also in page 4 of the Daily Sun, Our church attack, DSS arrests 6th suspect, says ISWAP commander hid in Edo for 4 years. It's afraid what you have to see.
It's
DSS arrests 6th suspect. Like this is the 6th person that arrested in that attack.
If it is 6 people that were arrested about, was it 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, some suspects were arrested some weeks ago, and then now what's on the news now in page 4 of the Daily Sun says that DSS has arrested the 6th suspect.
Okay.
And then the 6th suspect says ISWAP commander hid in Edo State for 4 years. 6 worshippers kidnapped during church service in Ondo State. All right, and on the bottom part of the newspaper, FCT elections, INEC chairman admits voter apathy challenges, queries staff, electoral officers. This can be found on page 26 of the Daily Sun newspaper. And on page 29 of the Daily Sun, headship of Southern Traditional Rulers Council should be rotational. That was said by A.Z. Arrow. To read more on that, you can find that news on the page 29 of the Daily Sun newspaper. And on page 27, South governors back Tinubu's executive order on oil revenue remittance. And on page 25 of the Daily Sun newspaper, Murtala Mohammed International Airport fire, Nama's air-to-ground systems wiped out. Wow, that can be found on page 25 of the Daily Sun newspaper. All right, let's go over to Vanguard newspaper. What I have in my face is on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. Outrage greets gun attacks on Obi, Oyegun, and others. Okay, And on top right, anti-Tinubu coalition non-existent in FCT, Rivers, Kanu, APC has declared. And that can be found on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. All right, and the very front page of the Vanguard newspaper, you'll see the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, being welcomed to Warri, Delta State, by Chief Ayiri Emami. Okay, so this is a welcome home post or welcome home page for the First Lady, I beg your pardon, the First Lady of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, to Warri, Delta State. That's on the Vanguard newspaper. Okay, let's go back to the Nation newspaper. What I have here on page 2 of the Vanguard newspaper, Tinubu to Disu, restore security. Tinubu has urged Disu to restore security. That can be found on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. And still on the big front page of the Nation newspaper, Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited is welcoming Her Excellency the First Lady of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, to Warri as she comes to Warri today, the 26th February 2026. Tantita Security Services is welcoming the First Lady to Warri, and that's on a very big page of the front page of the newspaper. All right, on the top left, opposition lacks serious policy discussion, says Agbakoba. That can be found on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. Opposition lacks serious policy discussion, says Agbakoba. All right, and then on page 3 of the Nation newspaper, President says amend constitution to embed state police. And on page 3, Adamoah lawmakers in mass defection from PDP. We still have people defecting.
Of course.
Beautiful.
That can be found to be from Labour to ADC, from PDP to ADC.
Yeah, right.
ADC. So,
yes.
So I don't think anybody is going to defect back to Labour Party now or PDP. I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
And with the level of defections, if you look at it, it's almost as if PDP is gradually going extinct.
Yeah, I think it cannot sustain itself anymore. As long as there is an engine, there is an inbuilt engine to completely destroy it. I'll boldly say that, because the activities of the FCT minister, it's not to make the party stand, is to deplete it completely. So yeah.
Okay, all right, and on page 4 of the Nation newspaper, air-to-ground communication equipment gone in the Murtala Mohammed International Airport fire. So there was a fire that engulfed the airports, and the people are coming. They're saying that there's
under renovation.
Yes, there was a fire. There was an inferno in the airport. Okay, now let's go over to the Punch newspaper. Disu declares total war on police corruption.
Okay.
Impunity. That can be found in page 2 of the Punch newspaper. The guy is already telling us that there's going to be war against corruption.
I
love it.
This morning I was like, well,
I love it. Okay.
It's good. If we can really make that work, it's fine. It's about time.
It's about time. Honestly, it's about time. All right, and then Tinubu decorates acting IG, demands new police force, new MPF. Okay, Nigerians are my bosses. Disu pledges. Disu has come out to say that Nigerians are his bosses. Okay, time's up for lawless, dirty officers, says new IG. He has a lot to say. He's already. I love the vibe that he has come with. I just hope that he's able to sustain it.
I just hope the everybody is carried along, because some factions are coming out to point out let me say, can I say an obvious nepotism or something with the appointment. But at the end of the day, you can only work with people you can work with.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, of course.
So that's a kind of defense, but it's very bad when you are on the other side. Yes. So when you are close to the national to when you have access, it's fine. You can say
all is well and good.
All is well and good, and it went through the right process. But when you're on the other side,
you'll be struggling.
Yeah, you can
easily struggling to wanna
the nepotism in all these appointments.
Beautiful. And on page 12 of the Punch newspaper, PDP Wike Makinde camps lock horns ahead of March convention. That can be found in page 12 of the Punch newspaper. And on page 2, Tinubu to Senate, amend constitution for state police now. And on page 23 of the Punch newspaper, recapitalization. 13 banks raised to meet March 31st deadline. And on page 2, still on page 2 of the Punch newspaper, Tinubu's executive order blocks 2 trillion NNPC fees. And the downside of the newspaper, the front page, you can see the picture of Tinubu, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, installing and dressing up the new IG of police, Tunji Desu, with his new ranks and all of that, and you can see him taking his first salute. And on the down part of that same Punch newspaper, you see 2027 Kwankwaso Makinde hold closed door meeting. That's seen on page 20 of the Punch newspaper. So to get more of all of the news, you can get these newspapers and scroll through them and look through them, because you have more information there. We're just reading out the headlines for you. Page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper, Lautech mourns as 6 nursing students die in road crash. Page 28 of the Punch newspaper, Labour issues Friday ultimatum to FG on wage arrears. Okay, Nigeria Labour Congress, they're always in the news for one warning or one strike or the other, one strike warning. What's going on? Why do we always have them always issuing a strike? Why can't the federal government just attend to the Labour Congress and just allow them be? Allow people work for you comfortably. Just answer them, pay them whatever wage they want, and just let people be. Because now they have come again to say that they are issuing on Friday, and I'm sure that's the 27th of February 2025, as an ultimatum to the federal government on wage arrears. Well, to know more about that, you can get that on page 28 on the Punch newspaper.
Like it's so bad for a civil servant that didn't really earn much to still be owed a wage.
And from what is stated, a wage arrears. So
it is not even for
salary.
It's not even gratuities.
No, it's even past. You've owed them, and then now they've been requesting obviously for them to come out to give an ultimatum.
They're not asking for an increment in wage or in salary.
Because we know how long it took for them to increase the minimum wage. Okay, and lastly on Daily Trust. We have on page, the first left, the upper left, I beg your pardon, upper left of the Daily Trust newspaper, we have on page 6, 5 children die in suspected food poisoning, 8 others hospitalized in Taraba. That's on page 6. Still on page 6, court orders Indimi to pay daughters I take that again. Court orders Indimi to pay daughters $435 million. That can be found on page 6, so you can read more on that from page 6 of the Daily Trust newspapers. And on page 10, Fintiri set to defect. I take that again, I beg your pardon. Fintiri set to defect as Speaker. 13 assembly members dump PDP. That can be found on page 10 of the Daily Trust newspaper. DSS releases Walida. You want to know who Walida is? You can get the Daily Trust newspaper and read more on that. And then there's a protest as El-Rufai remains in detention. Protest as El-Rufai remains in detention, and that can be found in page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Era of impunity over IGP Disu. Era of impunity over as IGP Disu takes over. That's on page 20 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And on page 10 of the Daily Trust newspaper, Kwankwaso meets with Makinde in Ibadan. 2027, Kwankwaso meets with Makinde in Ibadan. To know more of that, you can get it on the Daily Trust newspaper, and that can be found in page 10. And lastly, on page 6, gunmen kill 25 in twin attacks in Adamawa. Gunmen kill 25 in twin attacks in Adamawa. That can be found in page 6 of the Nation's newspaper. Mr. Fred, I'm going to come to you now. From all that we've read from dailies, what do you have to say? Because if you ask me, all that has been read in the newspaper today surrounds the welcoming of the First Lady to Warri Delta State and the appointment of the new acting IGP. By the way,
and the killings.
And the killings, of course, the killings. It's unfortunate that now the killings now. Yeah, it's unfortunate that now killings is now it must be part of the news.
Exactly,
it has always,
and it's read like is the least concern.
Yeah, like it's one of those things. We see it every day.
It should be making more.
These are human lives we're talking about.
First little word.
Exactly. Because
if you check all the pages or the pages of the news,
you must see one. You see one news, one story of one person or one area that was attacked, gunmen attack, and all that. Yeah.
That should be making the front page.
And then the installation of Tunji Disu, as he made waves in all of the newspapers that we went through. Okay, all right. We will go on a quick break, but let us take this opportunity to join forces with as many others out there to welcome the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, to Warri Delta State. We welcome you, and we love you, and we hope that you enjoy your stay here in Warri. All right, we're going on a quick break, and we'll be right back to talk about what is trending in Nigeria. What do people have to say? We'll give you heads on that when we come back after the short break. Stay with us.
Dursag Engineering and Services Limited, a trusted name in the oil and gas industry, proudly registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission since the year 2000. We hold several specialized permits with the Department of Petroleum Resources, are accredited with service and product codes by NIPEX, certified by Dun & Bradstreet, and proudly ISO 9001:2015 certified. Our head office is strategically located at 43 Airport Road, Warri, Delta State, Nigeria. At Dursag, our areas of expertise cut across critical sectors, including manpower sourcing and supply, both local and highly trained expatriate personnel. Engineering services across civil, electrical, instrumentation, and mechanical works. Construction and fabrication works. Specialized procurement and supply. Operations and maintenance services. And integrated marine services, delivering supply boats, crew boats, tugboats, barges, houseboats, and speed boats. We are proud partners to some of the industry's leading players, including NNPC and its subsidiaries, Seplat Petroleum, First Hydrocarbon Nigeria Limited, ND Western, Saipem Contracting Nigeria Limited, and Lee Engineering and Construction, among others. Over the years, we have successfully executed manpower, EPC, and marine support projects with a strong record of excellence. At Dursag Engineering, we are committed to quality, safety, and timely delivery, ensuring that every project meets and exceeds expectations. Dursag Engineering and Services Limited, your trusted partner in delivering world-class engineering and energy solutions.
I knelt and abandoned. And I realized that you have a history of being faithful and never to fail. No matter what, I put my trust in you. The Lord will not fail me. The Lord will not fail me. The Lord will not fail. He will never fail. The Lord will not fail. You never fail, God. You never fail, God. So we put our trust in you, Lord.
Oh, dear. Though my life without ups and downs, times I've been lonely. You will never fail. No matter what, my trust, I put my trust in you. You can raise your hands and worship with us. The Lord will not fail me.
Hey!
Lift your hands and sing it again. The Lord will not fail. He will never fail. He will never lose. He will never lie. He will. The Lord will not fail. No matter what. No matter what. No matter what. The Lord.
Hallelujah. Yes, Lord, we thank you because you are alive. And because you live, we live. Thank you, Jesus. Casting down my crowns before the living God. Casting down my crowns before the living God. I'm pouring out my own before the Holy One. I'm pouring out my own before the Holy One. Now I need you to just raise your hand and worship the King of Glory. Our God is great and greatly to be praised. There is none like him. Yes, our God is great. Thank you, Jesus. I'm casting down my crown, pouring out my own. I'm pouring out my own. Can't you see him moving everywhere? Can't you see glory fill the temple? The temple, the angels sing, holy, holy to the Lamb of God. And we saints join in one accord. Oh yeah, the Lamb. Oh, very great. We your name be God. Your people worship you, oh God. Do I have a witness in this place this morning? Say, can't you see them? Can't you see them moving in? I can feel your presence everywhere. Can't you see this? Your glory, glory fill the temple. Your glory, Jesus.
Welcome back from that really, should I call it a quick break or a long break? Welcome back from that break. We're still on TVM Express, and I still have with me in the studio my amazing guest, Mr. Frederick. Thank you for staying with me, Mr. Frederick.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now let's talk on what's trending. We have so many things trending on the internet. Let's go on to X space, where we see Nelfund student loans reach nearly 1 million Nigerians. Tinubu names Tunji Disu acting police chief after Egbetokun resigns. Nigerian snow name ritual captures travel dreams. In the music industry, we have Ramanjago trending, we have Tiwa Savage trending, and in Nigeria, we have Sheyi Law trending, we have Very Dark Man trending, we have King Michi trending, we have Ambode trending, we have State House trending, where there's Divide. Okay, Mr. Fred, off camera, we were talking about Very Dark Man and King Michi, girl, and you had a lot to say. So let's share with our viewers. What's going on? Very Dark Man and King Michi.
I just hope she's not being used as a political stooge, because it's not going to, because with the I was this very early this morning, I was trying to check the blogs, what every blog is posting. So far it is Gossip Mill, because Gossip Mill had a fight with Very Dark Man also, so it's only Gossip Mill that have been posting negatively about Very Dark Man. Every other blog, they're trying to tell Michi to, this is not a fight you can win.
What's the fight about? Why are they fighting?
According to, okay, at first Michi accused Very Dark Man of trying to always be at the spotlight.
Okay.
Yeah, he always says his you know, his agency is the best.
His NGO, rather.
Yeah, his NGO is the best. It's going to make every other NGO look bad. Yeah, according to Very Dark Man, that when he started his NGO, he said the way he's going to run his NGO is going to make every other NGO look bad. So he's been saying that of late, and he's been proving it. Anyways, so I think what really caused this saga right now is because of the school Very Dark Man recently renovated.
Okay.
So Michi said, I think it's fine to do it for content and engagement, because that's where you get your money back from, to do more work, because without finances you can't be a philanthropist. Yeah, I think Emma should come and borrow that line from me. Without finances you can't be a philanthropist. Yeah,
right.
So I was like, okay, she has a point. As at yesterday evening, before I went to bed, because I don't just take matters and just judge. I try to be a jury and a counsel at the same time, even if it's just me. I just try to take your grievances and try to understand why you have to be very pissed. So I saw her reasons. Like, she posted something about a renovation, or she had plans to renovate a school, and before you knew what was happening, Very Dark Man had already renovated a school. So the attention diverted from her to Very Dark Man. I think that's what her grievance is. So when I got to Jojo of Lele's page this morning, no, I think a blog posted Jojo of Lele's grievance too, and that lady was also saying that Very Dark Man posted something about renovating a school. Before you knew what was happening,
King Michi went to renovated
a school in 6 days. So exactly, charity should not be about competition. I don't know. It is not for you. It is not, except they are content creators anyway.
Of course, they are content creators. Yeah. So I think they're doing it for clout, or
for just except
for content.
For the primary reason is to make money, or is for clout, or for popularity. Even as that, you can also do it to attain that without really dragging each other down, because it checks all the boxes. It checks all the boxes, whether for clout, it checks for both of them. Whether for content, it checks for both of them. Whether for finance, it checks for both of them. So I don't see any reason why there should be a tug of war between them. So far, that's what has been happening, and I don't think Very Dark Man have really done his usual and ring light
video when it comes out to ring light.
when
it comes out to fire.
So
when it comes out to fire,
I'm still waiting to get a video from him, but I don't think I think he shouldn't, because the same way he ignored Dion, I don't think, although Dion also made some good points, because like I said, I try to be a jury and a counsel to matters put before me. So I think it should just they should try, because it's going to affect, at the end of the day, they are made already.
Exactly, my point is exactly.
Very Dark Man is made. Who is going to bear the brunt? Are the people that are supposed to benefit from their weather clout, or their financial hustle, or their charity? The people that are supposed to benefit from this are the people that are going to get affected more.
All right, still on what's trending. Carter Efe and Pella face threats from Lekki street touts. A few days ago, after Imoni's birthday, I think they were gifted cars.
I saw them breaking cars.
Pella, and they said, I don't know the intent behind the act, but it's and then now they face threats from Lekki street touts. Also, in what's trending, Burna Boy rumored to convert to Islam after associates claim. That has been in the news for a while now. Burna Boy attempts to convert to Muslim, to Islam rather. It has been in the news.
There, it's fine.
It is faith. It is life.
You have freedom to
choose whatever religion freedom to associate. Cardi B denies trashing SNL equipment over Nicki Minaj joke. Nigerians No Name ritual captures travel dreams. All right, that's all on entertainment news. Let's go back to sports news. What's trending in sports? Arsenal fans celebrate Arteta's birthday amid title start debates. Victor Osimhen shares teen trial drama that launched his career. Real Madrid advances in Champions League with Vinicius winner over Benfica. Real Madrid edges Benfica 2-1 to reach Champions League knockouts. And lastly, and what's trending from what we have here, courteous jokes about inevitable Man City draw in Champions League. That's on sports, and that's all we have on what's trending for now. Thank you so much for being part of TVM Express. Thank you so much to my amazing guests. Do you have any last words for our amazing viewers watching us?
Well, thank you very much for watching the show, and I hope to be here some other time.
I hope to have you on my set. All right, thank you so much, my amazing viewers that has watched to this point. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day and do have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Hello there, welcome to today's broadcast on Men's Workroom. Men's Workroom talks about, speaks of like a laboratory, a workshop, a processing house where you deal with issues before you take them to the showroom to show to our world and market to our world. And in this men's workroom, we will be looking at different issues that pertains to men on how we can live our lives as married men and have a successful home, a successful father, successful businessmen, successful money mongers and millionaires and billionaires. Today we are going to start with what they say is the most important thing a man needs from a woman, and that is the word respect. Respect. There's a whole lot of things going out there talking about respect. Now, what is respect? It's a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something. A feeling of deep admiration for someone or something. When a man feels respected, he feels alive and on top of the world. To take our journey, we are going to consult the book that God gave to mankind to direct his life, called the Bible. We're going to take a ride from there, and we're just going to be taking it in beats and then be driving it home till we all get perfected in it. And that's St. Matthew's Gospel, chapter number 7 and verse number 12. I'm going to read first from the Common English Bible translation. It says, therefore, you should treat people in the same way that you want people to treat you. This is the law and the prophet. You should treat people in the same way you want people to treat you. I read it in Complete Jewish Bible, and it goes like this. Always treat others as you would like them to treat you. That sums up the teaching of the Torah and the prophets. That sums up the teachings of the Torah and the prophets. It means everything Moses was trying to teach the children of Israel, down from Exodus down to Deuteronomy, is about treating people the way you want to be treated. Everything Isaiah, Jeremiah, Hosea, and all they taught was to bring man to this point. And do you really know that when we come to this point of realization and living our lives in the real sense of it, of treating people the way we want them to treat us, this world will be a very balanced place, because you will have a thought before you act. You will have a rethink before you do things. The God Word Translation, the C part of it says, that is the meaning of Moses' teachings and the prophets. So I'll start my journey to let you know that since the greatest need that man has of his wife, or man needs from his wife, is respect, I would say that respect starts with you. I will say that because I bring the quote of John C. Maxwell that says that everything rises and falls on the shoulder or the wings of leadership. Now, a leader is one who influences others to carry out a function or achieve a common goal. That is what a leader is. So respect in the home will actually start with you. It starts with you because you have a whole lot to benefit. Some of the benefits you have to derive from respect starting with you is that, number one, you are the man. It is very important because you are the man. Being the man also means, number two, that you are the head. Being the head means you are the top of everything: joy, pain, sorrow, happiness, and celebration. Number three, you are the chief culture officer of your home. Culture is the way a group of people behave, is the lifestyle, the way and manner in which a group of people or society in a society behave. You are the chief culture officer in your home. The next point is that you are the man in charge. You as the man, you are in charge. You are in charge of victory. You are in charge of woes. You are in charge of tales. You are in charge of everything in the home. Next is that you are responsible. You are responsible for the atmosphere. The atmosphere determines determines the richness of the soil, determines the richness of the soil. If we can't get the atmosphere right, though the nutrients in the ground might be good, over time it's going to respond to what the atmosphere carries. So it is very, very important. And the last thing I wrote down is that you are going to give account of your life and how you manage the resources, which is your wife, your children, everybody in your home, the human capital or the human resources in your home, as well as the material resources and your time in the home. So it is very important that you do this so that you can have a beautiful home full of respect. So the next thing I'm going to bring out is to look at how you can achieve a home full of respect. I just talked about the relevance of it, or the benefit of it. So how do you keep a home full of respect, where your wife respects you to the maximum, what a Jamaican man would call the maximum? How do you do that? Number one, you will need to make your wife know how much you love and appreciate her. How much you love and appreciate her. When women are not appreciated, they give birth to us. They give birth for us damaged products. They give birth for us unhealthy atmosphere. They give birth for us resistance. They give birth for us everything that will shorten our lifespan. So it is very, very important that we do that. And in making this work, we need to start with our thoughts, because as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Our thoughts pattern determines our lifestyle. Our thought pattern determines our actions and our reactions. The next thing we need to put forth in showing our wife, to show our wife that we appreciate them, is our words. Your words have to be loving, appreciating, and kind. It doesn't have to be judgmental, but it has to be peace, giving, loving, tender, and nice. And thirdly, it has to be in our actions. Action, they say, is louder than voice. If you tell a woman, I love you, and she believes you, and you act opposite or otherwise, and you tell her again you love her, and you act otherwise, she's going to stop believing you over a period of time, because you can't fool somebody all the time. You may fool them sometimes, but you can't fool them all the time. So it is important that your words, your thoughts, your action, and your words tally. Today we have lots of people who are praying for their wives to die. I'm telling you, they are praying for their wives to die so they can marry another wife because they're tired of her behavior, they are tired of the way she acts. Could it be because of the things that you put in her, the atmosphere you create, the way you behave towards her, that is affecting the way that the atmosphere of your house goes? So check all of these things. It will affect the way you get respect in the home, because as you want others to do to you, you ought to do it. You ought to do that way. And it starts with the mind. If your wife has offended you, she's done so many terrible things to you, and you want to move your life forward, the place to start from is to change your mind about her. If you didn't used to admire her before, now start admiring her. Start looking at her and bring back to memory all those things you like. I've heard some men say, oh, when I married her, she was so slim. Now she's not fat. She's not fat. After 2 children, she's fat. Oh, she's fat, but she's still your wife. Whether slim or fat, she's still your wife. Whatever she is right now, she's still your wife. Whether healthy or sick, she's still your wife. To help you go through this and not go the destructive line is to start looking at those things that you still like about her, amplify it. There's a tone to which there's a volume to which you amplify it. It will drown the things you do not like. So to change your mind, start celebrating the good sides. It will affect the sides you don't like and keep you going, because marriage is not supposed to be for a little distance. It's for a lifetime. Because the benefits it's going to bring to you are this. Number one, it will boost her self-confidence. And when her self-confidence is boosted, you are going to be amazed and so truly blessed. Number two, it will teach your children to do the same. Because most times it's like parents, like kids. Like parents, like kids. The culture you create affects the culture they disseminate. Number three, it will promote the spirit of honor in your home. The spirit of honor brings about riches, brings about health, brings about wealth, brings about protection. It keeps the devil away. Woo! I love that. It keeps the devil away. So when you promote honor, it keeps the devil away. Number four, it buys you respect. When you show your wife you love her, it earns you respect. It earns you respect. I've seen some women, although some women can be very, very crazy. I've seen some women, they see their husband come to tell their friend, Coco, see, the fool is coming again. The fool is coming again. How can you say that about your wife, about your husband, who is your head, your crown, and the glory of your home? That's not good at all. So it is important we do this. Then the next point I'll drop here is for you to take note that some men feel that when you show your wife too much that you love her, they will come to the point of over familiarity. They start looking down on you, start having that superiority complex. Now, any woman who looks down on you because you tell her, I love you as my wife, doesn't have honor in her. Now, if that's the case, if that's your state, then we need another class to deal with that, because there's a way to deal with that kind of issue. But on a normal note, if you let your wife know you love her and you appreciate her, it's just going to boost her love and respect and honor for you. The next point is that it glorifies God. Everybody wants to glorify God. Everybody wants to make God glad. Everybody wants to bless the Lord, and that blesses the Lord. The last thing I wrote down here is that it kills the tendency of separation and divorce. Today, so many marriages are heading towards the rock. They are heading towards the rock, and the time to deal with it is now. Respect given is one strong way to keep the devil away from sponsoring divorce or separation in your home. Now, to end this class, you have to do me a favor. Having spent this time talking to you, you need to do this for yourself and do me this favor, because your success is my delight. Do this. Write down 3 things you're going to do differently to show your wife that you love her and to improve the culture of honor and respect in your home. Write down 3 things you're going to do to make her know you love her and you appreciate her. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next episode. Don't forget, my name is Victor Atenang. I remain your partner to a successful home. Be blessed.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode on Men's Workroom. For questions and contributions, please do write Reverend Victor Atanaga via the email address showing on your screen. And we're gonna get back to you answering your questions. Thank you for watching Men's Workroom.
Democracy had an engine room, the National Assembly would be right at the center of it. From lawmaking to keeping government powers in check, this arm of government plays a crucial role in how Nigeria is run. But what exactly does the National Assembly do, and why does it matter to us as everyday Nigerians? Let's break it down.
The National Assembly is Nigeria's federal legislature, established under the 1999 Constitution. It is responsible for making laws for the entire country and represents the Nigerian people at the national level. Nigeria operates a bicameral legislature, meaning the National Assembly has two chambers. The first is the Senate, which consists of 109 members. Each of Nigeria's 36 states elects 3 senators, while the Federal Capital Territory elects 1. The second chamber is the House of Representatives, made up of 360 members elected from federal constituencies across the country, based largely on population. Together, these two chambers ensure that both population size and geographical spread are represented in national decision-making. So why does Nigeria operate 2 legislative chambers instead of 1? The bicameral system is designed to promote balance and careful decision-making. While the House of Representatives reflects population distribution, the Senate ensures equal representation of each state. This structure prevents dominance by more populous regions and encourages broader national consensus before laws are passed. It also creates an internal system of checks where both chambers review and debate legislation independently. The primary responsibility of the National Assembly is lawmaking. A proposed law, known as a bill, can be introduced by a lawmaker or forwarded by the executive arm of government. Each bill goes through a structured process. The first reading, where it is formally introduced. The second reading, where principles are debated. The committee stage, where detailed examination takes place. And the third reading, where final approval is sought. Public hearings may be held, allowing experts, civil society groups, and citizens to contribute to the process. Once passed by both chambers, the bill is sent to the president for assessment. If the president refuses to sign, the Constitution allows the National Assembly to override that decision with a 2/3 majority, reinforcing the legislature's independence. But the work of the National Assembly doesn't stop at lawmaking. One of its most critical responsibilities is oversight. This means monitoring how government ministries, departments, and agencies carry out their duties. Through committee hearings, investigations, and summons, the National Assembly can question public officials on policy implementation and spending. Ministers and heads of agencies are required to explain their actions and justify the use of public funds. This oversight role is vital for transparency, accountability, and preventing misuse of power. One of the most influential powers of the National Assembly lies in the nation's finances. Each year, the President presents the national budget to a joint session of the National Assembly. Lawmakers review the proposed spending, debate allocations, and make necessary amendments. No government can legally occur without the approval of the National Assembly. The legislature also approves external and domestic loans, monitors government borrowing, and ensures that the public funds are spent according to approved budgets. This authority gives the National Assembly significant influence over Nigeria's economic priorities and development plans. Members of the National Assembly are elected to speak for the people. Lawmakers represent specific constituencies and senatorial districts. They raise motions, sponsor bills, and advocate for projects that reflect the needs of their communities. Ideally, this ensures national policies consider the realities on ground, from infrastructure and education to security and healthcare. Through this representative role, citizens' concerns are meant to reach the federal level. The National Assembly also serves as a guardian of the Constitution. It has the power to amend the constitution, approve key appointments such as ministers and ambassadors, and confirm judicial nominees. In extreme cases, the National Assembly can initiate impeachment proceedings against the president, vice president, and other top officials following constitutional procedures. These responsibilities help maintain balance among Nigeria's three arms of government: the executive, legislature, and judiciary. Despite its importance, the National Assembly faces criticism. Issues such as low public trust, concerns over transparency, and debates around remuneration have shaped public perception. However, the effectiveness of the National Assembly often reflects broader democratic challenges, including voter participation, accountability, and civic engagement. Strengthening the legislature ultimately requires active citizen involvement and sustained democratic pressure.
In simple terms, the National Assembly makes laws, checks government powers, controls public spending, and represents the people. While debates continue about performance and responsibilities, its role remains central to democracy. Understanding how it works helps citizens know where power lies and how to demand for better governance. Alright guys, that is all on this episode of Explained. Do well to follow us on all